Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Imperial Holonet. And today I'm joined by Redleader and Tilly's and Deapoolzilla, and we are going to do a commentary on Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Yes, the first of hopefully many Star Wars anthology films to come. So, do we want to give our thoughts, or just want to get straight into it? Because I'm
Well,
ready.
since we, had a lot of hype leading into this movie and stuff, including, I think, didn't we do a speculation video right beforehand?
We did a
Yeah,
special.
we
Nope.
we we just won't leave this film alone, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Well, we
episode
did
8 will be
Red, and
coming out, and we're probably still going to be talking about it.
I remember when we did that Red. It pretty much just turned into every anthology film we ever want speculation by the end of it. We went on a
Oh, we've
mess.
done like several Rogue One based videos at this point. Just looking forward to this movie. I wasn't really hyped for episode 8 throughout that stuff. Like, I remember waking up and watching the trailer for episode 8, the teaser, but that was about it. Like, I didn't really give a shit. And with this movie, man, this was just an experience because this really made me fall back in love with Star Wars and the fandom. And I got back into toy collecting and comic book collecting and speculation and panicking like crazy over shit. Though not as much as Jewel.
Oh no, I had Red can tell you the horror
Jewel was
stories.
having like panic attacks like 2 days before on Twitter. And I was like, dude, it's okay. The film's gonna be good. And you're like, no, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. Vader's gonna be horrible. It's gonna suck. I'm like, no, it's gonna be fine. And
Reshoots, man,
what ended up
reshoots.
happening?
It was the most great thing ever.
Exactly. Just wait until next time. I'm like, believe me, trust me, it's gonna be great. And then it's gonna suck.
Oh, I can't. Don't think I. Well, if it's the Han Solo film, that's fine. But if it's Episode 8, man,
If that film sucks, I won't really care.
exactly.
Wait, Last Jedi or Han
Han
Solo?
The
Solo.
Han Solo film.
Uh,
I got nothing riding on that movie.
Nope. We good.
really?
We're good.
Oh, that's right. You're not a Han Solo guy. That's
you
right.
might if that rumor is true, but we'll get into that later.
Oh yeah, let's not talk about that.
But yeah, Deapoolzilla, want to give your little brief thoughts?
To quote the talking dog from Powerpuff Girls, it's good.
Okay then. Well, with that said,
That's all I just say at this point.
okay then. Well, with all that said, let us get your timestamps to 000. I'm watching this on my Blu-ray on my TV. I'll try to keep the volume down so we don't get in trouble with the copyright lawyers. Um, I could probably have no subtitles and know what they're saying. At this point. So when I'm saying,
We wouldn't want Kathleen Kennedy to come busting through your door and kicking you in the balls.
I have a feeling she could do that too. Um, and with that, everybody, press play right now. Here comes the Lucasfilm logo.
So I think
Here,
we talked about this in our.
Crawl or no crawl?
here comes.
Yeah, I was about to ask.
Where's
I
the
was
crawl?
about to ask that question.
So what are your thoughts on it?
I think it probably would have helped
I think
some people.
We talked about this in the review where I'm kind of okay with the crawl. The crawl was Catalyst.
Yeah. Though at the same time, which this opening thing is still confusing to me because I still don't understand what I'm looking at. I know it's supposed to be like the asteroid belt or whatever. It looks though like a bad PS2 graphic for those first few shots, and then I'm like, oh, that's why it has a straight edge because it's the shadow. Okay, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of that first shot. This would have been a better shot.
Yeah, it took me a moment for my brain to register. Oh, that's like a ring from that's supposed to be like a ring from around Saturn or something.
Too. Look at that beach.
Yeah, Iceland looks awesome. Lifeless, but awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny how both the kind, if you think about it, the opening to Force Awakens and Rogue One are kind of similar in certain specs. Fun fact, if you actually watch Force Awakens and Rogue One back to back, certain things happened at the same time. That happened in Force Awakens that happened in Rogue One. I noticed that when Star Wars Underworld was doing their compare and contrast video.
Huh. I'll have to do that sometimes.
There's the blue milk. Oh, and Jin's toys are awesome if you look at the visual guide, because like a bunch of them are like freaking Clone Wars era ships, including a Separatist ship, which I don't know why you'd give your child a toy that's like giving your child a toy that's like a Nazi tank during World War II. That's just kind of weird.
Not really. You can reenact the battles.
That's kind of like that's kind of like saying, here's a Venator class Star Destroyer. That's kind of the same thing when you think about it, as a toy of that.
Yeah, but I could buy the Republic having those, and the Empire distributing them as well. But like, who gives their kid a toy of a freaking Separatist ship?
I would, but that's just me.
It's kind of like the same question of in the Flash cartoon. It's like, who gives their kid a Captain Cold toy?
Oh god, that was the worst. It's like, oh yeah, you can put it right next to his Charles Manson action figure.
You saying you don't have a Charles Manson action figure?
No, but I'm just saying I don't put it next to my Captain Cold. I put my serial killer shelf on a different shelf than supervillains.
But what if the supervillain is also a serial killer?
Then there's another shelf for that, like Zaz or Stirk. You gotta organize.
That's fair. Okay, fair point.
But yeah, so here's Lyra.
Here's Krennic. Look at him walking.
Which I have no idea why Lyra acts like a dipshit yet again.
Yeah. And here's the moment where I think, Krennic, you're about to become awesome for shooting this woman.
Oh, yes. I almost cheered in the theater, and I was like, wow, I almost did a fist pump in the middle of the damn theater, and that would have been really horrible, because no one else probably realizes.
Of how terrible well, it's not that she's terrible, it's just that she sucks as a human being. She's quintessentially a space hippie.
Exactly. She's just obnoxious and elitist. Also, Krennic's great right here.
When is he not great? That's my question.
His reaction. I like the fact that even though he hates Lyra, he's like genuinely like feeling bad that Galen might feel bad. Even though he doesn't really believe him. Like he is still a friend. Well, wishes he was more, obviously, if you read the book.
Oh yeah, I can just imagine.
It's
stuff
so
going on.
obvious. I still don't know why they didn't confirm it at any point.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like it's almost like a moment where Krennic could go, notice me, Galen Senpai.
It's funny because everyone who's seen this movie was like, "Oh, Sheridan Bays are totally a thing." No, this is the freaking Yowie ship they should have went with.
If anything, it's more like a yonder. It's like a Yowie yandere ship.
Oh,
I have no idea what that other term means.
I know.
But yandere, it's like, I think Harley Quinn. That's yandere.
Oh, okay. I love his reaction here. Oh, here's Lyra back from the dead. It's a miracle.
Krennic's all like, Lyra's getting all up on my man.
What is she doing here? Also, she's cosplaying as a Jedi. Further reason for her to deserve to die.
She was actually going to be a Jedi once.
Yeah, that would have been better. She's such a wannabe. It's just...
I can understand, like, there's worshippers of the Force and all that, but she makes it all about almost like herself in the book.
Yeah, and I don't think she understands the Jedi very well.
And kind of the dirty shit they did.
Yeah, I don't think she... Well, that, like, she's like, Jedi don't fight, and I'm like, yeah, they do. They fight. They're merciful warriors. They're still warriors.
Yeah.
And don't you dare say Yoda said, oh, well, war does not make one great. It's that it doesn't make one great. It's not that the Jedi aren't warriors. It's that they're great because they end wars, not because they fight them. That's the point of that line, even though people seem to not understand that completely. But yeah, Lyra's an idiot here. She should have stayed with Jyn. But no, she had to attack several highly trained stormtroopers with, a single pistol. And intentionally loses her freaking advantage of surprise.
Yeah, she just runs out in the open rather than just be like, blam, I shot Krennic.
Yeah. And what did she think was going to happen? The Death Troopers would just still take him back.
Yeah. Also, can I just say how much I love the Death Troopers?
Yeah, they're cool, even though they do like next to nothing.
Well, it's kind of like I'm glad they're in this universe now. Like we're getting to see these new like trooper battalions and trooper subgroups, and how Disney and Lucas are kind of making, what's the word I'm looking for? They're they're really putting out there these other stormtrooper subgroups, because it makes sense, because our military has all those subgroups. Why shouldn't a galactic empire?
Yeah, I just wish they did more. Because the problem is they get their asses handed to them by Baze. Like they should have at least gotten a few more kills, but they're just as good as a standard stormtrooper. Also, here's a question: why couldn't Lyra have been the scientist?
I thought she was a
That's
scientist.
A good ass question.
I think it was Rogue Padron that asked that, and yeah, they're right.
That's a good ass question.
Like, what? I get that it drives home the Oppenheimer thing, but you could just have a female equivalent. Also, I don't like that title card.
Nobody does. It's stupid. Well, there are a lot of characters who probably could have been women in this story.
Oh, yeah, we'll get into that, because just... You have a cast of, 7 characters, and only one's a female character? Seriously.
And here's the thing. People are still bitching about, oh, we have too many female protagonists. Did you not watch Rogue One? Did we watch a different movie?
Here's a fun fact about that character. That's Jin's cellmate, and she wants to kill Jin.
Yep. I also like how that Stormtrooper has a baton.
This is my beating stick.
This place looks really cool and should be somewhere else. The Ring of Kafrene, even though it doesn't look like a ring, I have no idea why it's called that. Also, there's the TIE Reaper at the top of the screen.
Also, is it just me?
The Death Troopers use.
Is it just me, or does this whole scene of the mall look a lot like that? Whole, like the Rings of Akaten? Is it just me? Is anyone else getting a feel of that?
Exact same thing.
Ooh,
also,
you're right.
People.
I forgot about
those guys are wearing those hats that the whatchamacallums wore in Force Awakens. The guy who gets stabbed by Kylo in the Force back. Those are the exact same props.
Ooh.
They're not supposed to be related. It's just a reused prop.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars has done that before, so
well, we've done that from Doctor Who as well.
We've reused companions, actors who became a companion.
And Bosk's jumpsuit was worn by what's her face, Zoe.
And there's the guy who looks like Pablo Hidalgo.
That's Paolo's twin.
Whereas he doesn't drink coffee though; he drinks tea.
Damn tea lovers.
That's why Pablo's great, because he drinks coffee. I had this on mute with no subtitles. Everywhere.
They've been working for like 20 years. No shit, they have a giant spy network. I mean, of course, they have imbeciles like Callus in charge, so can't be that impressive.
Exactly.
Also, I love this Stormtrooper right here. He's back up. Love that.
That Stormtrooper was voiced by...
This moment made me fall in love with Cassian.
Where he just shoots the dude in the back.
I love this moment. Because it's so true of how warfare is, especially if you're a special ops kind of person. And it's exactly what I wanted this film to be. I was so worried this film was going to be like Goody Two Shoes Alliance, especially from the Hope and Dope speech. And man, does that just work so well. And the fact that he never takes that back and never apologizes for that. Like, I see people say he changes. I don't think he does, really. It's more that he just reevaluates who he is or decides that he won't cross a certain line. But even after deciding not to kill Galen, if he was put in that same situation, he would have done it again. He would have shot that informant even after he decided to spare Galen, because those are different situations.
Yeah.
And I'll get more into that, but the thing with Galen is more, there was another way. Cassian will do whatever has to be done. Killing Galen didn't have to be done. That was the point. The Alliance has to do some terrible things. It doesn't have to always do terrible things. But I'll get more on that also. Here's the Two Tubes brothers and frickin' Moroff.
He got reshooted.
Yeah.
I think the Partisans were supposed to show up on Scarif, and that kind of got scrapped.
Yeah, what were we saying, Deapoolzilla?
Oh, I was just saying that, going on what you were saying is that, like you said, it's a kind of a no-win scenario because, the dude's arm, was it his arm or leg broken?
His arm. Oh, man, here's the turbo tank. This
they look
I
smaller.
will not even apologize. This got me choked up in the theater. Because for those that don't know, and I have a whole story about this. So, as a kid, the one thing I really wanted when Episode 3 was coming out was, I was like, that was my big Star Wars thing, was Episode 3 and the toys around that. And it was the Lego turbo tank with the Mace Windu that's lightsaber lit up. And I wanted that thing so badly, and I never got it. But the turbo tank embodies my love for Star Wars as a child. I remember every time I went to Toys R Us, I would just stare at it. So the turbo tank means that it embodies my childhood love for the prequel trilogy, and seeing that with a darker alliance is just it's so good, because it's the first time I really felt like, as a mainstream whole, they were acknowledging the prequels.
They look small,
they'd done it in smaller ways, but not on this level, and not in such a way that was so emotional for me.
And this is why people make fun of Star Wars fans, people. They look small, though. I just can't help it. They always look smaller than they did in Revenge of the Sith. They look bulky.
This one looks bulkier.
Nah, I think it looks smaller.
Say that it's probably the same model, but they probably updated it in the 20 years.
Possibly.
You also seen it closer up as opposed to farther away.
Yeah. The other thing with this film, like what you were saying with the whole prequel and sequel thing, Red, was that this is what I love the most about this movie, is that this is like a perfect little marriage between the prequel and original trilogies. It's done so unapologetically. These happen. Accept it, assholes.
I am surprised Gareth Edwards, just out of spite, didn't just straight up be like, midi-chlorians, bitch. I don't even like midi-chlorians, but I want him to do that just out of spite. Then again, Rian Johnson seems pretty vindictive. I wouldn't be surprised if he had a point where there's a character named JJ who gets told that midi-chlorians exist just to piss someone off. Because he seems willing to piss people off. Also, here's Genevieve O'Reilly as Mon Mothma.
The evil one.
I really like Mon Mothma in this movie.
Oh yeah, she's great.
She's
Actually,
awesome.
Can I just say something? I want to say something. When I saw Mon Mothma in the trailer for the first trailer for this film, I knew this was a special movie, and I know that's weird to say that because it could have been so easy just to have the group get their mission from insert random rebel leader here. But to use Mon Mothma, who, in the book, she's a big deal. But let's face it, the movies always come first. And the movie...
And she's in one scene.
Yeah, she's in one scene. You don't even know she's the leader of the Rebel Alliance, for all you know. She's just the person who talks. But to use her, because she is the leader of the Rebel Alliance, and to acknowledge that, I think they acknowledge it. Well, it's pretty obvious at this point. I knew, okay, you're taking your time. This is special. So I knew we were in for something special when I saw Mon Mothma.
I really like that they, and also dear God, has that actress aged well in this time frame.
Oh yeah, she looks like the original.
But yeah,
actress.
what I like. What was I gonna say? The other thing is, again, seeing Jimmy, who when I saw Jimmy Schmitz walk out in out of the shadows, I was literally like, oh my, because I did not know he was going to be in this movie.
I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to be in this movie. And when my dad and I saw this movie and he walked out of the shadows, we were like, oh my God.
I remember that was another moment that just just got to me. It's like he's just there in a set from A New Hope next to Mon Mothma, the prequel Mon Mothma. He's just in your face going, "We exist, suck it up."
I kind of felt his introduction was kind of silly, though.
It's overblown, but I think the idea that might not be driven home well enough. Because the thing is, like, there's a fanfare when he walks on, and Jin has like a reaction.
Look at those eyes.
I think, like, right here.
Up.
But like, look at her reaction, and she's like, doesn't really understand like why, or she still thinks it's just this smaller alliance. And I think the point of that fanfare and stuff and her reaction is that seeing Bail Organa makes this real, because even though Jin's not involved in much of this stuff, Bail Organa's, a senator. He's a also, there's the ghost. But he's a massive, hero from the Clone Wars, and this, guy who's all about democracy and shit, and now he's opposing the Empire outright, aggressively. That's gotta mean something. That'd be like seeing like a former U.S. president, like, on the front lines of a battle. Like, that's gotta be like a.
I'm curious if they deal with that in the novelization
image.
Or not.
Yeah. And the other thing is Jimmy Smits as Bail Organa was one of the best things in the prequels. Even though he didn't get to do much,
Bail is not an interesting character, but Jimmy Smits just gives so much to that performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like those little things, like in episode 2, when they're all staring at the clones loading up, and he's just staring away, like he can't even look, and he just like hits the wall like with his fist and looks like he's about to throw up. He's so good.
I do love how the music builds up, because it's sort of like it is me, Bail Organa. I was in Star Wars Episode 3.
Spotlight.
I'm a character from the prequels.
And had a different actor in one. Well, he wasn't. The actor wasn't used in one. This is the deleted scene with Bail Organa, episode 1. For those who don't know.
Yeah. Also, when my mom first saw this movie, she about freaked out because she has like the biggest crush on Jimmy Smits. So
who doesn't?
Seeing him, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Smits is the only reason I will be happy for a young Leia film, is because, like, I need more Jimmy Smits in my life.
I want a Bail Organa movie, like just him doing investigations and shit, because he's such an interesting character if it's just based on the performance alone.
It's kind of like with Ian McGregor. That character could have easily been total crap, and Ian McGregor.
Also, K2's head doesn't look that good in the scene. This is the one time the CG is too dodgy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up because I thought I'd be the odd man out.
I'm with you. It's the one scene where it kind of just bugged me a little bit. Also, Masashi temples.
Yay.
I don't get why they have the Starfighter formation, the S-foils attack position, if they're about to go to hyperspace, when later they keep going to hyperspace with them, in standard flight position.
No, there they go.
And look, they go back to standard flight position, so what's the point?
I don't know. That did bother me.
They did it. They did the whole S-foils thing. I don't think it's necessary. I think they should have just stuck to the U position, because I don't like it in flight position. It doesn't really add anything.
Well, here's the thing that bothered me, because aeronautically, that should not. I know. We're doing a science fiction show, but aeronautically, that would not work. The wings are fucking backwards.
Yeah.
That thing would catch so much air, like so much backdraft, it would not be able to fly straight.
Yeah, and also the weird thing, which is, so if you're supposed to be going faster, why do you only open the side door and have the side gunner if it's going faster? Isn't that dangerous and kind of stupid?
Well, that's actually kind of a standard thing. That's been done with like Huey grade helicopters since what the.
But you don't do that when they're going at top speed. If it's in starfighter formation, why would you have the side gunner out? You do that if it's in slow moving helicopter gunboats. I would have preferred it if the modes were, instead of transport and starfighter, if they were gunboats, or I guess in this case gunship, versus starfighter. then that would have been a little bit more sense. Also, I love the fact that hiss is just straight up the Vader sound effect.
Oh yeah.
Like they just took the soundbite. And Saw Gerrera's in this movie.
Yay.
Also,
do you think he was always going to be Saw Gerrera from the beginning? Or...
No, they've confirmed he was not. In fact, we've seen concept art of him before he was Saw.
Actually,
I'm curious. What made them go, let's make him Saw Gerrera?
Because they had a character who was supposed to be a rebel extremist who take Jin in, who was like this kind of big, tough, more militant guy. And so also this ship right here, the Extra Crooks.
this is a great shot, by the way. Great shot.
Yes, but that ship should be an Imperial class too. I'm just saying that still bugs me because it's the ship specifically guarding the Death Star at all times throughout this movie. It's stationed there constantly. It's the bodyguard ship. Now there's several Star Destroyers, but it's the leader of the Armada around the Death Star. It's the ship they're in right now. Why is that an Imperial Class 1 if Imperial Class 2s would have just been about to come out at this time? I just think it would be a really cool way to handle things if you showed the new top-of-the-line ship once, and it's right there. It's nitpicky. I just wish that would have been a cool little Easter egg.
And here's Tarkin. Here's Peter Cushing.
He looks so good.
Here's Peter Cushing. It's not CGI. It's just Peter Cushing, people.
I will say
CGI.
that it's a little. I will admit, and I think I talked about this in the review, that it's a little jarring to see the CGI, but you get used to it really quick. At least for me, I did.
I was never bugged by it.
But I think what really sold it is the actor's performance as Tarkin. I'm like, yeah, there you go. That is Tarkin.
Where's Ian right
What's
here?
interesting is he doesn't get the voice completely.
Which made me go, why couldn't we have gotten, because Stanton was in this movie, why didn't we just get Steven Stanton to dub over?
Yeah, I mean, Guy Henry's fine. He gets the speech patterned, but he doesn't have the accent right. Like, he rolls his R's effectively, but he just doesn't sound exactly perfect in the same way Steven Stanton, I think, really gets it.
Yeah. He doesn't have, like, that authority. I feel like this Tarkin doesn't have, like, the authority in his voice. He doesn't carry that.
The Catalyst movie.
Yeah, he's straight up from that book. Also, Coruscant.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of funny when I rewatched this movie, and I'd watched the movie before I managed to read all the way through Catalyst. I was like, oh, I know that scene.
I do love the opening scene because it's such like the next chapter of Catalyst. Like, hey, I'm reading the next chapter.
Yeah. Real quick about the director, and I know we haven't gotten onto like we will get to some major shots, in the third act especially. But I feel like Gareth Edwards, one of the best things he excels at is kind of doing size comparison, and one of the best scenes of showing that was the placing of the dish inside the Death Star.
Mm-hmm.
And,
that's why they hired him.
And also with the when you first see the walkers come out of the smoke, like those are some of the, like, he's really good at size comparison. He did that in Monsters. He did that in Godzilla. And I was really afraid because Gareth Edwards is very, for me, he's not the greatest director. He's really shot off like way too fast for his own good, in my opinion. But this movie made me go, I have hope for you.
I think he had help.
Buildings looked kind of like, oh, did he? Who was the director of photography on this?
No. I'm talking about in terms of story. Like, he had help from like the story group and the people of Lucasfilm, and his writers.
Oh, that shot's good.
That's a good shot. I don't know. I don't have. I could look it up. I was just talking about, like, from a writing standpoint, not a visual standpoint. I could go to IMDb.
Yeah.
I wish we did more with Jin's relationship with Saw, and that's something I'll get into, but I don't like the fact that he raised her, and yet we kind of just act like, oh yeah, they were friends back in the day. Like,
yeah,
she says, he took me in and raised me. Like, it seems to be weighing on him, and then she never brings it up, and it continues the thing that bothers me, my biggest flaw with Star Wars across the board. EU, new continuity, everything. Star Wars hates adoptive parents. It's weird, but they do. and it's really annoying. Where we always have this thing of the adoptive parent doesn't matter, but then the birth parent does, even though the
Star
person
Wars
never met
believes
them.
in traditional values.
We keep doing this. It's like again with Luke, believing that they're still good in Anakin. Why? Because he's your blood father? Okay. Or like, he never brings up Owen and Beru. Jin has an adoptive father who raised her she was like, what, 6 in that beginning, who raised her for like 8 years. Sorry, would have been like 10. Yeah, he raised her for like 10. And we just don't even acknowledge it. It's just like, oh yeah, we knew each other, whatever. And it's like, that should be, I almost wish that was the crux of the movie for her. Like, because it's like immediately upon meeting Saw again, her biological dad comes back, and so it's like, oh yeah, by the way, let's just ignore Saw now because, biological parent obviously matters more.
That's kind of the thing. It's like when Saw dies, it's never brought up. Like the only people who seem to care at that point are Baze and Chirrut.
They didn't even know him. Well,
the
they
director of photography.
Actually, they did know him because of the apparently the Guardians of the Wills novel will have them meet him, but
which is apparently really good. So it's Greg Rucka.
But still, just like, oh look, there's the ATSD. But like,
that's a great
shot. Really dislike the fact that and in a few seconds, you're gonna see those giant tall monster things that the stormtroopers were supposed to ride on.
Now there's
also here's a dumb cameo, but those things we saw in the concept art that the stormtroopers rode on.
Yeah,
you'll see one in a few seconds.
There's actually another one in the background, I think.
Yeah, there's I think there's 2 of them, possibly a third.
Yeah.
I'll try and point one out. I think it's in a few seconds. There's one. You just missed it.
This film had like 5 writing credits to it.
I don't know about you guys, but I really dig ATS. Like, I really love ATSTs. And when I saw them in the second trailer, I was like, done, I'm in.
I like Cassian's face when he says rebellions are built on hope. Because he genuinely believes that. Like, even though he does a lot of dark things, he is an optimist. Which, once again, he's probably my favorite film Star Wars character because of that reason. Like, he just matches all my sensibilities when it comes to Star Wars characters.
Too bad we only get him in one movie.
I still hold out hope that we'll get an General Draven. No, Admiral Draven and him thing. Oh, that'd be great if just like Draven when he was like younger and he's talking to Kraken, who's obviously an admiral, and Draven's borderline unconscious, and he's like, rank Admiral. I hope people understand that reference.
I do.
Yeah, I got it. Also, I'm pretty sure you're pretty much dreading. I have this feeling you're dreading that Cassian will show up in Rebels.
Ugh. They will never be able to handle that character well.
He's probably going to show up.
I have no faith in them. No faith.
Yeah.
I don't hate that show, but just they didn't handle Saw well enough, and I don't want them to touch this character. But yeah, it's just like Jin was a terrorist also at one point in her life. I wish that was acknowledged. But then again, if you go by Rebels, Saw was just a totally nice, cool guy who was occasionally a meanie pants. I'm sorry, I just do not like how Rebels handled that. And that's a problem with bringing terroristic... Because the thing is, in Rebels, they're like Saturday morning cartoon, like...
Well,
like,
they are Saturday morning
Sonic,
cartoon.
Like, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, Sonic Sat AM. It's a good show, especially for its time.
I like Sonic X more.
Like, they're all freedom fighters and whatnot. And Rebels is that kind of tone, while Rogue One and characters like Saw Gerrera, I mean, his name is Gerrera. There's
I love
ties
this shot. This scene, by the way, reminds me so much of what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Exactly. Look, this is a revolution. Like, this isn't the alliance isn't just freedom fighters against the evil empire and stuff. No, it's a revolution against fascism, and there's more going on there. That's a scary thing. And
I'm gonna get in trouble for saying this, and I'm not making like comparisons, but sort of like this, it's like the scenes out of Wrath of Khan. You know, you got the American troops, and the American troops, they're great. They're all nice people.
What's so interesting in this situation, though, is
and then you have like the fried with the turbans, and I'm sure they're not trying to be racist to the area.
But you know what's so interesting though about it is in this situation, the Empire would take the role of America.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
they're here for resources.
Yeah.
And don't care who they're here. And that's not to say anything about the American troops necessarily, but just the geopolitical climate right now.
Right, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, I don't want to get in too much trouble.
It's a tricky situation, and that's what I like about this movie is it doesn't hold back on what a revolution is, for better or for worse. Also, that move right there, Saw Gerrera's man just used a move that Saw Gerrera was taught in the Clone Wars by Rex, Ahsoka, and Anakin.
I wonder if that was intentional or Jad was just.
I think it's intentional because they would have watched those episodes. That's probably in their minds, even if they didn't realize it.
I know Forrest Whitaker did, so. But let's be close, told me at least.
Also, here's an ATST for once looking good.
And moving good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like, apparently, here's the behind. Oh, sorry, Deapoolzilla. I'll let you talk.
I was just gonna say, I don't know about you guys, and I think I've brought this up before, but I want a movie focusing on stormtroopers just for looking at this scene of the stormtroopers fighting this group. I want to have a movie focused on them, kind of like something like a film like We Were Soldiers or Band of Brothers, but in a stormtrooper's perspective.
I remember when this scene came out, people got nervous because the stormtroopers were just getting their butts whooped.
Yeah, and honestly, the stormtroopers don't do too much. But yeah, if they do that, I don't want them to do like the Lost Stars kind of thing of like just defending the characters constantly. I kind of want to just do the Ray Sloan approach of just no holds bar. Oh no, they're just a fascist.
Oh no, we know we're the bad guys.
Apparently, in the earlier
we don't care.
Apparently, this film in the earlier drafts was a lot more lighthearted, and then the higher up said, "Nah, you can make it dark." Kathleen Kennedy's like, "Nah, make it dark. It's fine."
Yeah, it's about revolutionaries in a freaking civil war.
No, I'm just saying that gives me that gives me some confidence for at least the films that they're allowed to go to a certain degree. I don't think they'll ever go, like heads getting chopped off. But
it's so interesting though that right now in the sequel trilogy, the enemy, the First Order are being vilified for the exact kind of not that not that it's comparable morally what they're doing, but just in comparison, like they're attacking the established government and stuff like that, while here the heroes are the ones doing that. I really like that.
I'm sure they'll hopefully go more into episode 8.
That just fascism takes fascism can be the resistance. Fascism can be the current government. It can be anything.
Yeah. To quote Rick and Morty, or rather to paraphrase it, you guys wanted to fight a revolution, so you guys became a stupid revolution.
Yeah, I always said the First Order was the best thing of TFA. I mean, isn't it kind of scary and funny at the same time how it's the fascists who are the most popular thing in Star Wars?
It's
terrifying.
It's a terrifying thought that we root for a fascist empire in all of these films.
We don't root for them. So how do these blast bolts not go all the way through this guy? He's still alive. That one stormtrooper. He's still alive. He's up and kicking.
Maybe he's not firing at full power? I don't know.
That's what I was wondering, which I really like that if that's true, because it means that even though they're not caring that much if they hurt civilians, they at least care a little, because they're not going full power. If that's the implication, I love that. Because they're not good people, but not every single stormtrooper is going to be firing at full power in a crowded area.
Yeah,
they're not going to be merciful, but they're not going to be always assholes.
Yeah,
also, this right here pisses me off. That moment, too far. Way too far.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. He's an unarmed trooper. As far as we can tell, he wasn't pulling a weapon. Baze had no reason to shoot him in the face. And he shoots him in the head. He execution style killed a defenseless trooper.
I guess his philosophy is the only good trooper is a dead stormtrooper.
Ezra's done that too, and no one in Rebels, and I want to bring this up. No one in Rebels seems to acknowledge. Yeah, we're killing people.
Yeah, and that's my big problem with them using Saw Gerrera is, the dark thing he does then, because they don't acknowledge the death that these people are killers. Yeah, I know they're not going to get, like, I was just watching Full Metal Alchemist. It's like, I know they're not going to get into, like, the war stuff from that kind of series and our characters being murderers.
Ooh, Star Wars anime. That would go far.
Oh, God. Imagine a Star Wars thing where we have
well, we do have a Star Wars
good guys on, like, the side of, like, the, or, like, war equivalent to, like, the Ishbalan
war.
A good shot. That'd be brutal.
This is a lovely shot right here.
Fantastic. And this is, you couldn't get the shot with the wipes. Or sorry, it's the next shot. You wouldn't be able to get that.
I think
where it transitions.
Right. I think episode 8 and 9 will probably go more with the wipes still. Maybe.
Oh
not.
Yeah, they need to. I just like this anthology's not doing that.
Well, that's
I had this shot right here.
You see, I never. Yeah, the anthologies are allowed to be more experimental. I'm not saying I'm not defending TFA's safeness and hoping TLJ goes a lot more bolder, which I think it will. But the anthologies are allowed to be even more so. They're allowed to break the tropes. I think the sagas should not obviously do a clever twist on the tropes. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tongue twisting my words here. This is a good step.
Yeah.
They're all wearing turbans and masks.
Also, like, another thing I love about this film is it's so, I wouldn't say, and gritty, and what I mean is not like, it's all gritty and dark, which it is. But the thing is that what I love is that it kind of brings the dirtiness back from, the original trilogy.
And then it's funny because it gets even dirtier than the original trilogy did.
Oh, yeah.
Also, there's the one female trooper in this entire cell.
Hopefully
which is walked by, and then there's only. Oh no, that's good. And then look, it's terrorist Santa Claus.
No, I said I hope there's more in the book. I didn't say there was.
Oh wait, there's two. Never mind. But still, there's two in this entire cell, and then there's only one on the Pathfinder's team. That's annoying.
Yeah.
I remember, I forget what we came down on, but I remember right after this movie came out, a few of us were counting the amount of background people we could think of, and then how many got lines, and this movie still was way behind. And I think it just barely passed the Bechdel test. It's yeah, that's. I love this movie, but it does have a weakness of not enough gender diversity.
Yeah, and again, people are bitching about, too many female Star Wars characters, to which I respond with, really? Did we not watch that? Was there a different cut of Rogue One?
Also, I love the fact that Baze and Cassian both have this, well, fuck you, expression to Chirrut right there. Because, that was a rude thing to say. And, I love the fact that both Baze and Cassian just both have this, dude, fuck off. Also... Oh man, Forrest Whitaker's great here. And again, this scene's so good, and I really like it. Just how terrified Jin is, and not scared of him, but
a fun
horrified
fact,
at what he's become.
A fun fact: in the novelization, when the rebels saved Jin in Wabani?
Yeah.
In the novelization, she thinks those are Saw's rebels, and that's why she hightails it out of there. Because you don't want to see Saw.
Again, they have an interesting relationship, and I want that addressed. The father who's absolutely perfect and is a saint, and everyone thinks he isn't, but it turns out he is, and he has a cute little nickname. That's fine and all, but I've seen that before. But the adoptive father who abandoned her, but for her own good, and turned her into a terrorist, and realized it was wrong too late. And she resents him for that, but also understands that it was the right thing to send her away because he was turning her into a terrorist. But at the same time, now she's become cynical and he wants her to fight but not be like him. That's so much more interesting. This relationship, especially because it is an adoptive one, and she has her perfect father. This is so much more interesting.
I really want
and
Marvel. I really want Marvel to do or at least someone. Oh, sorry, Ryan.
This is such a good scene. Just this reaction right here. Did they send you to kill me? Just like, that's so good. And he doesn't even fight. Like, he's almost just prepared for that. Like, he's just like, his essentially adoptive daughter might kill him, and he just looks so heartbroken, not angry, just sad because he turned her into this. And like, that works so well. And also his just horror at her line of, doesn't matter if you don't look up, and just like the sadness on his face. Like, this relationship is so cool. And then he just dies, and she brings him up one more time, and once again it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah, I really want like a novel or a comic book miniseries to do, like, explore this relationship. The other thing,
kind of gonna get that in Rebel Rising, but I don't know how much of that book takes place when they were actually working together.
The other thing, like, didn't he also hide her? Because the other members of his cell were like, "Hey, she's the daughter of an Imperial."
Yeah, they were. Yeah, like he says, people were catching on. They were gonna, they wanted to use you as a hostage or for ransom, and so he did that to protect her. But I like that line where he's like, "Not a day goes by where I don't think about you and hate myself for what I did." Like that. That's so much more interesting than just, oh, I'm just this. Because again, like with the Galen thing, like, it's touching, but I like the complicatedness of this. Where with Galen, he's completely in the right, and everything he did was good, and everything he did paid off in the end, and he was a good person, and they end on good terms, and he's the perfect, can do no wrong parent. But I like this so much more. Like, it's almost like
At least we can't blame Disney for this, because George Lucas was doing the same thing. Lucasfilm believes in traditional values.
It's just like, I know I keep harping on this, but it's like we get the scene in a few seconds with Cass or with Galen, and I don't, and I know so many people think you'll love it, and it is a great scene. Felicity Jones knocks it out of the park. But I think it would be so much more interesting if we instead just had Saw be the father figure the entire time. Yep. Even if you kill him off early. Because again, Galen's just too perfect. It's too easy of a relationship if the father figure is just absolutely perfect and everything he did was right, and it turns out that no, he was a saint. It works really well if he wasn't, and that relationship still matters to her, though. Like, that's more interesting to me.
Yeah. The other thing, like, it would have been a lot better if she fought or at least mentioned when she faces off with Krennic, is like, I'm doing this for my father, my mother, and for Saw.
Yeah, like, she says, like, I'm the daughter of Galen Erso, but you're also the daughter of Saw Gerrera. And I wish that was acknowledged. Like, she says, like, a thing that he would say before a big battle, but it comes off just like, oh yeah, I knew him back in the day. As opposed to what it probably should have been, which is more like, he made her who she is. Like, her father gave her life and stuff like that, but he wasn't a part of her life. And while Saw turned her into a terrorist at points, also made her into a hero.
Yeah. Let's face it, he honestly shaped her into the woman she is now.
Exactly. It just, that works really good. And, like, I like this scene, and that's touching, but it's just so... I don't know. It's just he's too good and perfect and idealistic. I prefer it if if you have the relationship where it is more messed up and not... Like, think of it as opposed to... This is Spider-Man and Uncle Ben, but I would rather have Matt Murdock and Jack Murdock. Including the punch from Men Without Fear. Not that Saw did that, but you know what I mean.
If he did that, you get controversy.
Because for those who don't know, in the comics, Jack hit Matt once in the thing. It's a complicated thing, but like,
gotta admit, this
like
is
that kind of
relation,
like Jack Murdock and Jack and Matt's relationship is like my favorite Marvel parent-child relationship in all of Marvel Comics. It's so good, and like that, I see the inklings of that with Saw and Jin, and they don't go there, and they go for the like cliche, like perfect Thomas Wayne and Bruce Wayne, or perfect Uncle Ben and Peter. And I don't, though. Then again, Uncle Ben isn't perfect in the Amazing movies, which is why I like those movies so much.
What can you say? People
So yeah,
prefer
Felicity Jones
perfection.
is fantastic in this scene.
Oh yeah. You know what I love about
Though,
Felicity Jones's face? It's like there's like a little girl that's trying to come out, even out of that cynical woman that she grown into. That's how I view it.
I mean, she loses both of her fathers in one day, and then we don't acknowledge the other.
Yeah, and I also love Saw's like whole thing of just like bring it. I'm right here.
And that line just like save the rebellion, save the dream, and like I wish that like had more to do with it. Like she's like, oh, I'm like at the end, it's like, oh, I'm doing all this because my father's legacy. I wish it was because Saw told me never to give up or whatever. Like. Or like to avenge Saw, or like to fight. She turned away even though.
Or both. How about both?
Yeah, like just both. It can be that both people shaped her.
Yeah.
Oh, so I like how you can see the Death Star moving away now from the sun, like to the other side.
Or
sorry, from the
the
sun.
This is once again another great like filming of the whole Death Star eclipse scene, and also having the Death Star upside down. Because when you think about it, space doesn't really have any like mass to it, so it makes sense that it would be upside down at some points.
Mm.
I love the jokes in these films. K2's great.
Yeah, K2's a lot of fun.
I think K2's like I think if K2 wasn't in this film, I think the film would be a lot more depressing. It's that nice balance of just enough humor, but not too much where it gets distracting.
Yeah. I think we
honestly, I don't know why Saw's in this movie. Like, there's so much untapped potential, and nothing really comes of it.
Hey, I'd rather they.
I know I'm harping on this. It's just
I'd rather they have a
more
new
than
Saw,
ever,
though, because it sets a precedent for bringing in characters from other.
Yeah, but then killing them off means you can't use them at any point later.
Well, you gotta kill off the people sometimes. Not everybody can live forever.
Yeah, but the problem is it doesn't get a good enough. He's in this movie just for like 2 scenes, and like I like the fact that she wants him to come with them.
I think he was originally in some of the early drafts.
And like this, like she looks horrified, but it would be better if she's like crying or something as this happens and like doesn't want to abandon him. But instead, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's Saw guy. Program him up one more time later. I like how you get to see all these unique-looking aliens running away. I wonder how many of those people are aliens actually underneath the.
Kind of hard to tell because some of them also, sometimes look like they're just wearing masks and got a little face paint on.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get to that scene soon of that like argument between Krennic and Tarkin, and it's a great scene of showing. Oh yeah, you don't have a lot of power, do you, Krennic?
I was a little shocked, like, whoa, Krennic, you're yelling at Tarkin. You're not allowed to do that. That's like, no, that's big no. You can't do that.
And then deleted scene, he just pulls a gun. Which, how did he escape that room alive?
Yeah. I was like, how are you not...
The only way he would have happened is if Tarkin utterly emasculates him. Like, it would be great if like, the gun jams and then Tarkin just kicks him in the balls. Or he's like, I would kick you in the balls, but seeing as you have none... And then Krennic just like
he would probably
off.
just
so like come at me.
What Tarkin would probably do if the gun jam, he would just bitch slap Krennic.
He'd take Krennic's glove and then slap him with the glove
like a gentleman.
Exactly, be like, give me your glove. What? Give me the damn glove. And just slap him.
Tarkin's a traditionalist gentleman.
I like Bodhi like not being able to look.
Yeah, he's like, oh god, I really did like the actor who played Bodhi in this, and this great scene of he really sold it at some points, especially this scene where he's like, he just can't look because he's like, oh my god, I worked for these guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I love that explosion, how it's going up, even though they're so cool. So cool.
I hope the other movies also do cool shots like this in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Edwards and everyone else a part of this film did the smart thing of saying, well, Alderaan was the biggest moment for the Death Star. What happens if we just used one little cylinder to fire? What would happen then?
Oh, here comes the scene. Here it comes. Oh, Tarkin's so in control of this conversation. Huh. Look at all those officers.
I still keep hearing people bitching like, "Oh, Tarkin should not have been in this film." Bullshit.
I was surprised they managed to make
He's the villain by the end.
I was surprised just how well they got him in.
Here's how I kind of equate this movie and how you could look at the rest of the Star Wars film from here to the rest of the original trilogy. You've got three villains. You've got Krennic, you've got Tarkin, and Vader. Krennic gets wiped out. Then it becomes Tarkin as the main villain with Vader backing him up. Tarkin gets wiped out. Then it's Vader as the main villain with the Emperor and the following.
Well, Piet, and then Vader.
It's a level. It's kind of like a. Well, what I mean is, it's a hierarchy. You take one down, you got to move on to the next level.
Well, I always thought something interesting that Episode 3, the Tarkin novel, Catalyst, Rogue One, and New Hope. Well, maybe not Episode 3 as much, but Tarkin, Catalyst, Rogue One, New Hope. They make like the Death Star saga, in a way.
Mm-hmm. I like the night crew of the Alliance.
Aren't they also the day crew?
No, these guys are only there at night. Like they're in the main meetings, but we see that in the visual guide.
Yeah. I think this is like, isn't this, and Red, maybe you can explain this, isn't this like canonically when the Battle of Idoosh happens with the X-Wings, that's like the first time the Empire's like, oh, they're actually declaring war.
No, the first thing would probably have been the attempted attack on Lothal. Or no, it's Mon Mothma grouping everyone together. Well, we know what the official... This is the weird thing. We have a pseudo-declaration of rebellion in Rebels, but it's not the Declaration of Rebellion. Because we know what the canon declaration of the rebellion is, and it's not the same thing as what Mon Mothma says. So it must come later. So that event, I guess, would be the official thing. I'd assume we'll see that in Rebels at some point. Though I doubt there's going to be a big battle in Rebels.
Yeah, because they're still keeping with Scarif was the first big battle.
Yeah, Lothal was going to be, and then they got... yeah.
Lothal got Lothal'd.
No. They took a Thrawn to the knee.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's better.
And to just every possible body part and their ships. There's just nothing left.
There's nothing left.
And I guess, like, you're wrong about him. He's perfect. Again, like, just Galen's this perfect saint. I'm just not the biggest fan of that.
I like it, because I like fathers who are perfect saints.
I don't, though, because Saw's interesting.
I don't care if he's interesting, I just like the trope. But that's for personal reasons.
Yeah, the other thing
but the thing with Star Wars is we constantly either have them be...
They're either evil or...
people.
Well, most of the time they are evil.
People who the person insists is perfect and then turns out to be correct. Or, because with Luke, it's just like, oh, he redeemed himself. No, he didn't.
Well, you couldn't say that.
Fixing your own mess does not fix murdering children. Just no.
Yeah, the other thing is that same kind of train of logic didn't exactly work for Jason Solo.
Well, it did then in like his final moments because fucking Dennings.
Maybe Kylo Ren will be the third time's the try. Kylo Ren throws Snoke out of his own ship.
No. I really want them to keep Kylo a villain because as
Kylo redeems. Wouldn't it be great if we do redeem the villain?
Kylo redeems Snoke gets redeemed.
No, Rey redeems Snoke.
Oh, you were right.
I would walk the fuck out of that theater.
He's like, you were right about me, Rey. You were right about me.
Wait, and then Rey's like, when he goes, and I was Plagueis the whole time.
Okay, if that shit from both of you actually happened in the theater, I would walk the fuck out.
I like this plan a lot.
Just be like, bullshit.
Well, since Colin Trevorrow is directing 9, I want, like, just for some reason to bring back Palpatine and then he and Snoke just go at it. Just like they did in Jurassic
No, I want
World.
them to bring in a motherfucking T-Rex.
That's even better. Or
A
Palpatine
T-Rex
riding...
just, like,
the
fights a freaking TIE fighter. And it's just like, yeah!
Or Palpatine riding a T-Rex.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Bane did ride a Rancor that one time.
You know what the T-Rex... Oh, you know what would be a great scene is like the T-Rex just comes onto like Starkiller Base 2 because why the fuck not? And he just comes in, he just ignites a huge ass green lightsaber.
No, the T-Rex is the super weapon. It shoots laser beams from its mouth, obviously.
So it's Godzilla.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is
Also, I
great.
really like
Oh,
the fact
man.
that one hit destroys the engines because that's realistic. Like,
Yeah.
if you ignite the goddamn engine on fire, it's going to blow up all the fuel reserves and shit, and then you're not going to be able to hold.
Well, here's the thing.
Also,
I
like Draven like being just kind of like his face right here is great. Like some people say he's just an unfeeling bastard. No, he definitely cares about his people. Like right there, he cares about Cassian.
I think
Yeah,
Rogue One...
Cassian's dead, and he's trying to hold the. He's trying like, okay, like just move on from here because he's probably lost some of the operatives. Like I like that face.
I think Rogue One succeeds in is that something that even the original trilogy and maybe even the prequels and definitely a little bit of TFA didn't is a lot more subtlety. Like they don't and maybe that should be
like we tell the audience characters are conflicted or the characters feel a certain way. Here we just show it. Draven, everything you need to know about him is just in the face. It's never told to us. We don't get told anything about how he feels. Yet if you look closely, you can tell what his face is, or what he feels about stuff. Same goes with Baze, same goes with Chirrut, same goes with all of these characters.
And thank goodness they got great actors. Otherwise, that would have bombed big time.
I think with I love that again with going with Red said with Draven, it is that great moment of, oh shit, I just murdered him.
Well, no. That's not this moment. This moment, he just thinks Cassian's dead because he was shot down. That comes later, and dear God, he looks like he shot himself.
And
Yeah,
like, he looks like he's about to like kick one of like the computer monitors over. It's great, and I love that because he's not an unfeeling bastard. He has to get himself to that point, and he's sold his soul essentially as a member of the Alliance, and have to do all these terrible things. He's not a completely horrible person, or he's not evil, and that's something I really like.
I'm curious how the rest of the saga,
Yeah.
at least episode 8, moves forward with the whole subtlety thing, because again, saga versus anthologies, it's kind of like one has to stay in a certain set of rules while the other can do its own thing. Obviously, Han Solo is going to be a comedy, so that's going to be different. And I'm fine with that, of course,
I wonder what this thing is right here.
What thing?
Also, so does that generator thing they stood next to you for 5 seconds? I just wonder why that was there. But
this is a good shot.
Oh, I love the fact that there's a rainstorm going on because this is a tropical jungle. That would happen.
Well, that's why
I love it. It's never brought up. It's raining. I like that a lot.
It's raining here too. It's raining everywhere.
Exactly. It's raining across the galaxy. But something I really find funny is, so does every single U-wing come with an entire with at least 3 sets of ponchos and stuff?
Well, there was a cut, so maybe they had time to pack.
Yeah.
How would they have had time to? Well, okay. Here's the thing, and this is a really nitpicky issue, but I don't like Edu's placement galactically. If you look at the galaxy map, they were meticulous about where everything was placed, except Edu. Edu is placed in a really weird spot, and they actually pass by Yavin to get there, though there's no implication that they stopped, obviously. It seems like it's one straight trip, which I don't buy that a U-wing could at all make that journey without at least like 3 fuel stops, because they travel from one end of the galaxy to another, essentially, between Jeddah and Edu, and it should have taken a long time.
Red, those were the deleted scenes where they all had to ante up for gas money.
No, those were the reshoots.
That'd be great.
Those were the reshoots. Remember the good old days, Red, of the reshoot panics?
Yeah.
Suicide Squad did not help that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of having this scene in my head where they're just like digging around the U-Wing's like glove compartment for change.
And then they just sell like K2's like power couplings, and he's like, "You realize that's gonna just kill me sooner or later." I'm like, "Yes,
there's a trailer moment cut.
Oh yeah, they destroyed our homes.
Man, there was a lot of stuff cut from the trailers, which is fine. I'm still glad with what we got, but still.
If anything, those trailer cuts actually kind of helped the movie because it made it actually made me go, I'm guessing here. I don't know what's real and what isn't. This is kind of fun.
Episode 7 had trailer cuts too, so I'm surprised. I'm curious to see what episode 8 gets cut.
Oh, so that ship is so impractical. The what's that? The Beta class shuttle. It's really impractical.
It's also like it's just so bulky. I'm like, why did you just use an Imperial shuttle?
Because Krennic's
just use a Lambda.
Because Krennic's a hipster. He likes the.
I would say it's more. Well, that seems newer than anything.
No, that's a Clone Wars era thing.
It is?
Yeah, that was used during the Clone Wars. Haven't you been watching Star Wars Explained thing? That's why I keep saying Krennic's a hipster.
Huh. Also, I like the black hat in contrast to his. Also, that windbreaker. Damn, that windbreaker's awesome.
Can I just say also the cape is fucking impractical?
Oh, but it's so cool.
It is cool, but it's like Tarkin don't need this shit.
Yeah, well, that's because Tarkin doesn't need to posture. I mean, he does. Literally posture, but still.
Tarkin could come in with no uniform and he'd be confident.
Okay, so I'll get into this now. So, the difference between Cassian, because I've seen people say this before, Cassian isn't going back on his, like, what he did in the beginning. I don't think they're going with the idea that Cassian shouldn't have done that or that he's regretting that. What's happening here is a very particular situation. They don't have proof that Galen's bad. They have witnesses that he wasn't. They have 2 people attesting that he didn't. And if they kill him, that means that now that they've lost the message, they lose the only chance they might have of convincing the Alliance to potentially go to Scarif. Killing him would actually be to the detriment of the Alliance's goal. On top of that, there's no reason to kill him if you could potentially bring him in alive. Again, everything points to the idea that it's a safer option and more practical to keep him alive. Tactically, keeping him alive, even if he is a bad guy, keeping him alive to torture him is more effective. That and he also just saw him stand in front of loaded guns that were about to fire in an execution squad. Everything points to the idea that this guy is innocent. It's not that Cassian's saying killing for the sake of... It's not that Cassian's going back on the idea of killing for the sake of duty. It's a matter of... It's not that he's going back on the idea of being a murderer or even an assassin. It's that he's going back on the idea of killing... It's a matter of practicality. Well, it's a matter of killing needlessly. He kills because the Alliance needs to. This would be killing merely because it's the easiest way out.
Well, now that Red said that...
Cassian's an optimist. Cassian will do what he has to do. That's not the same thing as killing because you think that person has to die. Or killing because that person has to die is different than killing just because it's the easiest way out.
Yeah. And as if Rocky IV soundtrack has taught us anything, there's no easy way out.
So can I just say that I have a feeling that Galen's probably been used to getting slapped around by Krennic at this point? And I'm sure other things have happened.
Yeah, he is.
That's fancy.
He's just like he gets.
He's used to
like,
kneeling.
Harder, Daddy. What?
Right. He's used to kneeling to him. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's like.
But Krennic's just like finally.
Finally, I'm on top. What? Nothing.
He's like, just like I always tell. What? No, not. Oh, and this right here is great, where they send in the thing, and they're like, I love that because he thinks Cassian's dead, and then that face when he's just like. Get him on now. Like, he just realized, I love that look. Like, he just killed his best friends. Like, I love that, because there's so much depth to that expression right there. Just Draven's freaking out because he thinks he just killed Cassian. I like that. He has honor to his men.
Yeah.
He ordered the kill of Galen because he's taking the easy way out because he's lost so much to this war and is losing it. And Cassian's point is we don't have to always take the easy way out. Sometimes you have to kill. Sometimes you have to be a murderer. That doesn't mean you always are a murderer. And I really want a Draven novel after this because he should learn from that.
He's alive.
Or reaffirm who he is because of that. Like, there should be more going on there.
I think what we're learning here is that...
I love the fact that it was a Y-Wing that killed Galen.
I think what
like, the Y-Wings do... The first time the Y-Wings ever do anything useful, and it's accidentally murdering a valuable political prisoner. Great.
I think what we're learning here is that Rogue One...
Oh, and this single gun is really stupid. Even though it somehow does hit one. Also, no, not a Red Squadron. Also, I love the fact that Red Squadron kicks absolute ass in this movie. Like, they just... Like, Blue Squadron gets, like... Okay, so let's see. Blue Squadron has 3 people escape going in, and then everyone who lands die. Or everyone who gets on the planet dies. No one escapes, as far as we can tell.
Ooh.
Red Squadron loses, I think, 2 pilots, and then they lose 1 more guy during the Battle of Scarif. That is a really good success rate. Blue Squadron has 3 survive. Red Squadron only loses 3 in the entire film. And they're more than 12. They're an irregularly large squadron. Hot damn is Red Squadron epic. And I bet Wedge is one of those guys right there.
Real quick, going back to Draven, is he still alive canonically?
Yes.
Seems so.
Okay, just because I was kind of like back and forth on it. It was like, did he die at some? Are they saying that he died at some point? God, it's so hard to keep up with this new canon.
He's up and kicking.
What I was about to say is, I think what we're learning about Rogue Squadron is this is the first Star Wars movie to really get subtlety. In a way that I don't think any other Star Wars movie has. Originals, prequels, TFA,
and not to nitpick or be mean, but can I just say, Star Wars Underworld, I forget who it was, but somebody said that this attack was, like, the Alliance showing how they're going too far and how it's this needlessly brutal and aggressive and evil act. And I'm like, they attacked an enemy military base. They assaulted a military target effectively. This wasn't ruthless. Like, they bombarded a refinery that was used to make freaking weapons that just blew up a city. Like, that's not ruthless. Yeah, sure, they killed an innocent guy who, as far as they knew, was a member of the enemy. That's like saying that it was... That's like if you blow up a Nazi tank, and it turns out one of the gunners was actually sympathetic to the Jews. Doesn't mean it was ruthless to kill them. You were killing them in a war to stop them from killing your people.
Well, let's face it, people don't understand war these days.
Oh, no. No, people don't.
And let's hope they
that's something I love about this movie. Also, I love Cassidy just shooting them. Like, up close with the sniper rifle, it's like, oh god, that's gotta hurt. Like, that, their chest cavity just gone. Because again, that's a sniper rifle. At point blank.
Let's hope nobody has to understand war, by the way. Just wanted to add that.
Yeah, he's really awkwardly laying there. But again, it's like... I don't dislike Galen. It's just still leaning back on my point of the Ursos family is actually probably my least favorite part of the movie outside of Jin. Maybe it's just because I find Saw so interesting, or what Saw can be and hasn't been, thanks to a lot of stuff. Also, I like that you're a rebel now, and I like that face he has. He looks really like a little sad because he just had to kill. He's never killed before, and he just had to kill his own fellow troopers. They're horrible people. They're about to kill his allies, but still.
I kind of took it more as I never wanted to kill anyone. Period. So the fact that I just got made to do this.
Originally, Bodhi was going to be a little more crazier than he is in this film. Actually, he's not crazy in this film. He's manic, but I don't think he's crazy.
And again, is that ruthless? They blew up a refinery.
Yeah. Also, all these little pansies in this meeting, I love this moment where when we get to that meeting, it's like, oh, Jesus Christ, will you 3 shut up? Because...
I like how Chirrut is just like, don't. Like he's just like, don't do this. Also, I love this scene because of the freaking ending of it. It's so good. Especially his face just like, you're a shot. Like, she's giving him shit for almost doing something morally reprehensible, and he's like, bitch, I was a child soldier in a freaking Civil War. And if you read the freaking Republic comics and know just how fucked up some of the shit in that war was, oh damn. Like, I know he's not from here, but imagine if he was from Jabim.
Actually, that would have been a lot cooler. Like,
that would have been so sad, but awesome. Oh, and I like that. Did I? Oh, and her saying the one thing she goes too far. Oh, those were Alliance bombs. Yeah, Alliance bombs attacking a military target that accidentally killed, a person who was a part of the frickin' Imperial, not Navy, but Science Corps. Like, and I like the fact that he's just like, we've all lost things. Like, don't I like that line. Suddenly the rebellion's real for you. Some of us will live it. Because he was part of a separatist militia. Like, you know how many innocent people he's probably seen killed or had to kill himself or been unable to save? I love it. Some of us just decided to do something about it. Like, you give the Alliance shit. Oh, and I love that you can't talk your way around this. This is my favorite moment of the entire film. I don't have to. Oh, I love that. Because that just moral superiority of you can't get your way around the fact that you're a murderer, and he's like, I'm a soldier. That's my job. Like, you can turn a blind you can turn a blind eye.
Here comes my favorite scene coming up.
But I just love that point of like, suddenly the rebellion's real for you. Because like, you can't. Such a good. Here it is.
That's my favorite scene. Well, second favorite scene.
I am so glad I was not spoiled on this.
I didn't even know it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I know. It's so good.
They kept this one in the dark.
Yeah.
Of the Force.
Exactly.
Look at that castle. I realize, though, the sky isn't as red as it was in Episode 3.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how true this is, and maybe you guys can clear it up, but apparently where the castle was built is like the exact spot where Obi-Wan cut down Anakin.
No, it was built apparently on top of an old Sith ruin.
That actually makes just as much sense, if not more.
It's funny, you build your Sith castle on top of another Sith castle, and then the guy who
I don't think they have the rights to build a castle on a mining facility. There's some zoning issues. It was a thing. It was political.
I'm sure the Emperor could probably.
There's going to be an entire Star Wars movie. It's going to be called Vader, a Star Wars story, but it's actually just going to be about zoning laws. Also, I love these. I love that the architecture here looks really similar to the architecture in Revenge of the Sith. Oh, and the shadow, the motherfucking shadow.
And also, what's really crazy? That's a body. That whole body is a prop.
Mm-hmm. We actually saw that in the background of a behind-the-scenes thing before the film came out. Where people were just like, "Hey, there's a paraplegic prop. It's Anakin. It's chicken fried Anakin."
I don't know if Gareth Edwards grew, but man, his directing chops showing off right here.
What are those things in the back?
Sorry, Deapoolzilla.
I was just gonna say, can I say that it is? I kind of wish that we had like a scene of Vader getting dressed.
Oh, like Batman and Robin. We just close up on his ass.
No, well, you know what I mean, like him getting into the suit.
Yeah. I would like that, kind of like Empire with the helmet. At least the helmet coming down. But I like the idea of never showing him to be Anakin Skywalker because he's not Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah. And I actually like the idea of him actually making, in this new canon, his castle on Mustafar. It's like, yeah, that would make sense because that's where he was technically reborn as Vader.
Or at least where he realized that he was Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I go back to my point of, is it really the darkest moment of his life, killing Newt Gunray, or should it be, I don't know, murdering children? Like, this is where
I really hope we get it back.
He killed Gunray.
It is for me. That was the most heartbreaking.
Joel cried, didn't he?
Of course I did. That's the most heart-wrenching thing in the movie.
I mean, I do like that. We were promised peace.
You just want to make some.
You know
money.
what You know what I want to see in the new Vader comics? I want to see this castle built in those comics.
Yeah. Again, well, that's where we're gonna get the zoning law stuff.
You
Charles
see
Soule,
see
think
Palpatine
about
on his
this way.
desk.
Charles Soule is a lawyer.
I
It all
didn't know
makes
that.
sense.
I didn't know that.
He's building up to it. He's gonna do an entire thing that's he actually moonlights as a comic book writer. He's a lawyer as his day job.
Oh, that's cool. So I gotta tell you a funny joke.
Oh, can I just say, so Jan Dodano was recast apparently at some point during production because we saw early set photos of him, and it was not this guy. It was somebody who looked a lot closer and whose beard was a little bit more unkept, which is more accurate.
I didn't know that. Well, I have a funny joke I want to say.
Radis.
So
it's our boy. It's the boy. It's Radis.
So an 1138 article had this weird thing where it photoshopped Thrawn into the Resistance round table, and then I commented and said, "Now I just want to see Exar Kun's ghost photoshopped into the Hope and Dope speech round table."
That'd be so good.
Exar Kun's just there with the rest of them, just going, yeah, just looks cool.
He's just leans his shoulder on Bodhi. He's like, get a load of this asshole.
Exactly.
I also would like to say these guys in this meeting are fucking cowards. I'm seriously, you're not going to even bother.
Well, I can see at least a little bit just the idea that. Also, I don't like the fact Radis. I think put it simpler and better. I don't like the fact that Jin has this giant speech.
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? You are a former terrorist whose cell was later kicked out of the Alliance, and your father was a war criminal.
You are the hero of this movie by the directors of Karis Edwards and the writing staff. That is who she is, good sir.
This is actually my biggest problem with the movie is the Hope and Dope speech. I just don't like it. All of a sudden, she has hope because Galen turned out to actually be an altruistic person, and so now all of a sudden she's going to be giving all these people shit for being hesitant. Especially when I get why you wouldn't want to get involved. If they have a planet killer, and these are the funders, they're not even directly involved. They don't have militaries.
To be fair, I was more worried that Mon Mothma's character was going to get assassinated here. Not literally.
Yeah, but their planets are going to get destroyed, and they have no defenses. Think about it from their perspective. If the Empire finds out, they're going to blow up their worlds. It's a tricky situation. Also, General Syndulla mentioned.
Yeah. Chopper's there. Wait, no, that's the later scene. My bad.
In a little bit. But
I was too confused.
It's a tricky scene. I think it works better if somebody who actually has been fighting this war for years was the one saying it. My problem is, you have to fight. You're the one who was a coward until earlier this afternoon.
Also, there should be more women.
These people. It's funny because in the case of Bail Organa has been literally in this war since before she was born.
Also, there needs to be more women in the shot.
The speech, and it's too on the nose. Also, Cassie got a haircut between shots. That's funny.
And there needs to be more women in the shot. Sorry.
Yeah,
so
there needs to be more. There's only one.
Let me ask you, Red. Let me ask you. Would you feel more at home if Cassian was the one giving the speech?
Kind of. I think it should have been Bail or Mon. That, or I think Radish just puts it better. I just don't like the fact that she's just there to relay information. My problem is because she's our point of view character, she gets to have this big speech in a situation. Say what you want about the prequels. At least Anakin didn't go onto the podium in Episode 1 and speak to the whole Senate.
Oh, that would have made that film even worse.
That would have been horrible. I mean, to be fair, we had that with Jar Jar, sadly. But we still and Anakin didn't speak up in Episode 2. Anakin didn't interrupt the council and all of a sudden be like, no, you guys should get involved in this thing. Well, we're deliberating about it. No, I know best because I'm the point of view character.
Episode 1 had the problem that there is no point of view character. Maybe Qui-Gon,
but at least he didn't. At least he wasn't like, no, you need to go to Naboo. You're all cowards. A bunch of people who have been fighting since before I was born. It doesn't work for me because again, this is the leaders of the Alliance discussing what they're gonna do. I don't like the fact that just because she's our point of view character, she gets to have the big speech that, like, I like the fact that she didn't inspire them. Like, I like the fact that it doesn't work and that Raditz was going to leave anyways.
I just realized
it's just, I wish she didn't even have that speech. Like, I think it actually drives home the point of the film better if they all did it, if Raditz leaves and stuff like that, and she doesn't do the speech.
Oh, wait.
Because even though Raditz was going to leave anyways, I feel like it drives home the point of the film a lot better if what ends up happening is they take off, or they take off without giving a speech, and the entire thing of the Alliance still fighting anyways, even though the entire group won't do it, just like kind of going on a suicide mission, is of their own volition. Like, I wish it was driven home, like they don't even give a speech. They're just like, fine, we're going out on our own. And then Raditz shows up on his own. And then Mon Mothma and everyone decide to go on their own. Like, that's what's happening, but I feel like the film thematically is playing it as if she's the one who inspired them, and I just don't like that.
Episode 7 that needed to have Rey, Finn, and Poe all give a dramatic speech before they attack Starkiller.
Again, I like that with the Resistance. The Resistance is going on a suicide mission because they decided it. Like, it's not because the heroes of the film are... In fact, it's funny because Finn doesn't want to do it. He's just like, these people are going to die.
Wait. Could you stop for a second? Because one of my favorite scenes in this film is coming up. Not this one. Not this one. Right about...
Win, Joel.
Now.
Win.
This one, right here.
Oh,
I love this scene.
And, like, I like this because this establishes that they're going to leave anyways.
No.
But I think this works better if you don't have Jin make a speech.
No, I don't like that.
Because I like the idea that on their own, just because they're the Alliance, like, we make it seem like Jin's the one who's like, no. People who have been freedom fighters for 20, if not 30 years, you should fight for freedom. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, I just feel like it should be of their own volition, and she just should have nothing to do with that. It's on their own accord.
But actually, that's not the reason I like the scene. I like that scene so much because it's like I like that continuity thing. Because they're like, you've got Bale and Mon Mothma. You know, these two people have been like but they've been doing the whole Rebel Alliance thing from day one, and like they decided to put these two.
And
in
I wish
the film
they did.
together.
I wish we did that without having a giant speech from what should be a nobody compared to all of them in universe. Especially because even in Return of the Jedi, Mon Mothma got a speech, even though we never met her. And freaking Akbar got big lines and stuff. Like, in Return of the Jedi, we didn't randomly have Lando be the one to get over the comms and say, "May the Force be with us."
It's kind of funny
Akbar got to say that.
It's kind of funny, too.
Like, it's okay to let character... It's okay to have the big lines and stuff like that, not always be your POV characters. That's my point.
It's kind of funny because as overpowered...
I know Darth Pevra hates this even more than I do. Yeah, it's a flawed scene. I know it's nitpicky. It's just I don't like it. It was unnecessary, and I know I'm still talking about it, but I ranted about this for days and days and got in so many fights over this.
Well, I would just say that thankfully the third act doesn't start to fumble.
At least it's not what inspires them.
Exactly.
That's the one thing that works for me.
And
I don't like the fact that she has the balls to just say that to their faces. I don't like that. It actually works better than Novelization, where she's angrily doing that. Like she's kind of more like Saw's kind of people with just like.
I love this scene.
You're like, these bureaucrats. Like, we should just fight whoever we want and be reckless or whatever. Like, that works a lot better based on, who she is.
Well, here's something weird. I love seeing Jin smile. Because when she does, I just like that. I like seeing because she's such a hard character that when she smiles, it's like, hey, look, you're smiling. And this is when Batman vs. Superman came out and nobody smiled. So I was really getting harsh on people not smiling. Which is weird, I know.
You are a way too optimistic person, Joel.
I like my optimism. Well, I'm an optimistic person.
You're Optimus Prime. I'm Pessimist Prime.
You're your Megatron, then. That's the...
Autobots, why bother?
It's kind of funny. It's like, for all those things, I agree with you, Ray. Red, that Jin is a better character than Ray in terms of setup and motivations, and I like Ray and she's overpowered and stuff. But it's funny how even Ray doesn't give the optimistic, let's go fight the bad guy speech.
Well, my problem is it hurts Jin as a character, in my opinion. Yeah. It's because the thing is, she's finally becoming self-sacrificing. but she's still not the kind of person to give this giant rousing speech about hope and stuff like she has hope again, but she's still like a soldier. Like it's more of like the rough, like this is what the speech should have been. And this is what it is. Like this speech right here is so in character. Because it's a soldier giving a speech to other soldiers. She's a ground person, she's essentially, a revolutionary. She's not one of the high up political people or generals who gives us this massive, like, we have to have hope and believe in democracy. Though those kind of speeches work for those kind of characters like Padme or Mon Mothma. But Jin's speech right here, this is the soldier speech, and this is who this character is. Jin's an awesome character, and I absolutely love the character. My problem with the Hope and Hope speech is it's out of character for Jin, and it hurts Jin as a character, because that's not who she is. She's optimistic now, but again, in this kind of rough and tumble kind of soldier way where her kind of inspirational, like, we have hope thing is, we're going to kill those imp bastards or die trying. Like, that's her optimism, and that's why I like the character. But then all of a sudden, she becomes like Padme for a scene, or Luke, and I don't like that.
Yeah. That might be another reason some people, though, might not. I mean, I'm not siding with them. I'm just saying.
Because I like this speech right now.
Oh, yeah, it's a good speech.
Like, that worked. Even though it's the only other time she brings up Saw Gerrera.
Well, I was just about to say, like, I don't agree with these people.
Which, again, this right here, like, her pushing for her father's thing, okay, fine. But then this should be, like, okay, that was her in memory of her father. This should be in memory of Saw. Like, this should be, Saw taught me to fight, and I ran away, and I stopped fighting and stopped caring. But now I'm doing what making him proud. Like, that's what this should be.
Love that guy.
But nope.
Nope. Also, I love the fact that this guy doesn't have like a mustache. Oh no, he doesn't have a mustache, and yet then Cassidy walks in with a mustache.
Maybe
like, does no one recognize the fact that there's a completely different guy who walked in?
Yeah, maybe they're like, I
had
a busy Tuesday.
You guys didn't have a droid, and wasn't that guy who did the landing a dude?
Well, the droid could have been in the ship for all they know.
Yeah,
which weird to me is two of the stormtroopers are still in here. Also, those guys would have to look down the ladder probably when they get in. Wouldn't they just see Baze standing there?
That's a good ass point.
I never liked that. It should have just been they closed the door and then slit their throats. That's what it should have been, as opposed to this.
Here's a fun fact. Apparently, when they get the shield down in Rogue One, that's when Phasma lowers the shield in TFA. I learned that.
But yeah, and this makes so much. This is a much better way to close a shield in your film, as opposed to just like, oh, I'm gonna close the shield. My people will stop you.
Chris from Underworld brought up a good point where he said that TFA had a really, really good first half, but then like a really shaky second half. Rogue One's the opposite. Although I think Rogue One had a pretty good half too, but Rogue One's second and last half are like perfect, especially these last 30 minutes. Once you get to scare of everything, it's like...
It has 3 halves?
Well...
You mean acts?
Acts. It's the third act of Rogue One is great.
Pal's the best. And I love the Pathfinders.
The third act of Rogue One is perfect.
Though I don't get why they had 2 other stormtroopers. Why didn't they use them to sneak? Well, I guess you want as many Pathfinders on the floor as possible.
Here comes a nice...
Also, why did she put the helmet up? Or the glass up?
Maybe it's hard to see. I don't know. I don't wear them with helmet.
I mean, I guess because it is to avoid glare. Because you're, standing right as ships come down.
I love
that conveyor thing.
I love these shots. Look at it. It's like Vietnam. Like
I love the what's the word? Is it Sand Trooper or Tropic Trooper?
Sand Trooper.
Shore Trooper.
Shore Trooper, right.
Shore Trooper. I really dig the Shore Troopers. Again, same with the Death Troopers. I want to see them do more, and unlike the Death Troopers, they actually do shit.
They are elite, actually, according to the visual guide.
But yeah, this. Well, shit! I lost my train of thought again.
I really like this facility. It's a bummer it gets blown up.
I used to think it was the Death Star at first.
It's just a subway.
I thought it was the Death Star at first. Remember some of those early pictures? We thought, oh, maybe this is just the Death Star.
Oh, and that K2 unit doesn't look that good. It looks like it's just gliding.
I love the retro.
I love the fact that the thing is. Oh, I think that was actually the one female trooper there who has her face covered up right there.
Of course.
Because God forbid the female troopers get screen time. I know I'm harping on this. It's really annoying that you have like 15 troopers and only one's a chick. That's frustrating.
Isn't Sam Witwer one of these stormtroopers, or?
No, he wasn't one of them, but they dubbed.
Well, Steve Blum also didn't he dub some of the troopers?
I think so.
Yeah, he dubbed the trooper at the. Steve Blum, I know that was his voice at the start with the trooper that Castian first encounters.
Oh, nice. And also, what is that thing? He like electrocuted his neck.
Look at that cape. Look at that cape.
I thought
he's trying to swagger.
Yeah.
How weird he looks going down the stairs.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that was like a weird day, and then now it looks better. I noticed that too. Apparently, this third act was actually like completely reshot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's pretty clear that they leave. This is a different facility than the Citadel, especially because you see like a giant because this is supposed to be like a storage facility, and it becomes weird when it's just for files when that's not supposed to be the point. Because I asked Pablo Hidalgo why there were ATACTs and so many cargo things here, and the explanation is that they're bringing kyber crystals and stuff from the Edu base here and other materials, and the point's supposed to be that this place is not just for the plans. This is storage for all kinds of Imperial projects. So like building materials or leftover stuff. So this was supposed to, as far what I think is, this is supposed to be an what would you call it, like not just a bunker but like a massive storage facility, and then they get out of there and run to the Citadel. Instead they combine it into one building.
Which
it's supposed to be one giant armory, more or less.
However, I'm harping on my little point. Rogue One proves you can have reshoots and still have a good movie if you just let your creative people edit the film, which they did. This was edited by Tony Gilroy, who actually wrote the third and final draft of this film.
Yeah,
I thought this is a mouse droid.
Because this film had also, a lot of writers.
The Vader scene was of course the Vader scene we all know.
I didn't know Hugh Jackman was a rebel.
You were saying about the Vader scene, Deapoolzilla? Sorry.
Yeah, that was all last minute, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All reshoots. He was supposed to be old Krennic originally.
I think I like Krennic death in the movie a lot better.
Yeah. Also, this guy's from A New Hope. He's background Imperial number 5.
Yeah.
Also, the Death Star gets there hella quickly.
Yeah, I was like, how the fuck did that work?
In fact, I'm gonna check that. The Death Star does have advanced hyper drives.
Was it still? I mean, you think it was still a Jedi, or you think it was moving around?
I am going to, for the sake of argument, have it be Jeddah. I'm searching for it right now.
Unless it's Jeddah's like far away, then in that case, I think it has to move around. Oh, there's that. There's another good mistake. Oh, there's Chopper, and he's swearing.
Yay!
There's another bearded guy. Look at all those guys with beards. Like they knew how to dress, and like they made sure everybody looked like they were from the 70s.
Jeddah, Scarab.
So, fun fact: one of the another reasons for the reshoots was because when Gareth Edwards was directing, he tends to direct like very documentary style. So they had to like completely reshoot some of the scenes because they had to add in the special effects.
I'm not the biggest fan of the placement. I finally found it. Jeddah's like right by Rakata Prime. It's like right on the edge of. It's in the freestanding subsectors, which means it's like right barely inside the galaxy. And Scarif is you're right next to Tatooine and Ryloth in the Outer Rim, but you have to cut across the Inner Rim. Or, well, I guess you could curve around the entire Outer Rim, but then you'd still have to enter the... I don't know. I mean, the distance would probably take about 3 days. With the Death Star being super fast, I could give it a day. There's no way in hell it could be this quick.
Well,
which I know that's nitpicky, but my problem with that is this film otherwise was so consistent with hyperlanes, and then for it to essentially cheat right there is a little annoying.
Well, it's obvious.
Because my problem is if the Imperial fleet can just teleport, essentially, that becomes problematic with how why don't they send more ships?
I can give you
only the Devastator shows up. They could have sent the whole goddamn Imperial fleet.
I can give you a proper answer to how the Death Star got there. They went to Plaid.
I wish I knew what that meant.
You need to watch Spaceballs.
Oh yeah. I haven't watched that in forever.
And here's the Godzilla moment. I call it the Godzilla moment.
I've listened to it 1,000 times over. He does say Carabah. He goes Carabah, as opposed. He doesn't say blast. He just goes Carabah.
I call this the Godzilla moment, by the way.
What was the Godzilla moment?
When the AT-AT shows up.
You see, okay, it's Carabast. AT-AT. They say AT-AT. It's not AT-AT.
Oh yeah, AT-AT. AC.
The subtitles are incorrect. Also, that blast should have killed them.
Well, I don't have the subtitles.
I'm sick to death of how wimpy. Oh, okay, they're AT-ACTs. I can buy that they're not that powerful. Also, oh hell yeah, this is the moment because you know me. I'm a fleet junkie. Oh, the profundity. Oh man, that ship. Oh God, it's so good.
God damn it! I want
this was the best cameo in the movie.
Garvin, it's Garvin. This is the best part of the entire film. Just holy shit. As a fleet junkie fanboy, or I guess as a fleet junkie and a fleet fanboy. Oh my God.
Oh really? I wouldn't have guessed Redleader Antilles.
I actually really like the Red Squadron. Did you know that?
Yeah,
I had no idea. You were a Blue Squad kind of guy.
I just thought you were a gray I thought you were a Gray Leader guy.
This is a great shot, by the way.
Not those Imperial scum.
That's not because you're Rebel scum. My Imperial.
Okay, why would you have S-foils in attack position if you're trying to get there as fast as possible? That's like putting the brake on as you're about to hit the finish line. Well, I mean, I could kind of get that so you don't hit someone, but still.
Because
trust me.
Yeah, so you see, like, most of the Blue Squadron makes it through, except... Oh, and also, the black guy actually makes it.
Hooray!
For once in a Star Wars film, the black guy survives.
Well, what about Finn? He lived.
But I mean, like, of the background guys. Like, because when it comes to pilots, we keep doing that. Because in the original trilogy, well, okay, there was one guy who, I forget the name, but he survives. But, like... The thing is, there's one black pilot and one Asian pilot in the entirety of the original trilogy, and they die back to back in Return of the Jedi. Like, I think it's actually the same interceptor, which Wedge then kills. Or no, it's I think retroactively Hobby that shoots it down. But still, like, it's just.
Oh,
I love the fact that we finally subverted that and had that guy survive. But he lives. Though that means he probably dies later because they all die except for Wedge Evan. Which Evan is here.
Oh, cool.
The woman from the who survived the Death Star and was in the Leia comic.
So I'm just gonna say this: Battle of Scarif, completely blows the Battle of Coruscant out of the water. Like, this is like the best.
Yes, except I wanted a ship-to-ship engagement. There was none.
Now, to be fair, I don't like necessarily comparing it to Jedi, only because, 80s and we have the technology. I could probably...
No, because that technology still holds up. It's not a matter of technology. It's, oh man, I love the fact that foot is rusted. I never realized that. The AT-ACTs aren't that powerful. I mean, that's intentional. They don't have the greatest weapon systems, but still.
The prototype here.
Well, they're not prototypes. It's that they're cargo, so they don't have as much room for stuff. Also, the AT-ACT drivers, which are just I hate that because they're like just the tank driver with the shore trooper mixed. I don't like that at all. Just because it should have been AT drivers, because the AT-AT drivers are like the most underused freaking pilots. They only show up in like 3 shots in the entire original trilogy.
We could say something I forgot. Oh yeah, I'm gonna quote Rob Walker, Doug Walker's brother, for a second, and say that the Battle of Scarif is Hoth and Endor, and you take out the Ewoks, so it's the best of both worlds.
And with freaking Coruscant as well.
Oh yeah, a little bit of Coruscant.
Because capital ships whooping ass. Well, the capital ships don't do much.
I think what I love about...
Because in Endor, it's just fighters. We don't really get anything with the other ships.
Yeah. Because but I would say that with Scarif, this really shows the power of Star Destroyers, because it's like they only have 2 before the others show up, before the Devastator shows up, and it shows that that 2 Star Destroyers can hold an entire fleet.
Isn't it funny? This is one of the better battles that had a good tone. I told Redleader a couple of months ago on Twitter, and I said to him, the Battle of Naboo is actually pretty epic, except for the Jar Jar shots.
Yeah.
The
Battle of Naboo's actually not half bad. Oh, yeah, the ground battle's cool. Also, here's another Red Squadron ship that gets shot down, and that I think makes 3, and there might be 1 more later. What's weird is, for me, is just with the Y-Wings. We spend so much time, like in Rebels, they particularly make sure to steal 9 Y-Wings, because there are 9 Y-Wings at I love that explosion right there and the way it rips apart. But there are 9 Y-Wings in particular present at Yavin. However, in this film, a few of them get destroyed, and in Rebels we see more. What was the point of making that? It's more Rebels' problem, but what was the point of specifically having 9 Y-Wings present? Or sorry, I think it's actually 7.
I feel like it was just a choice. I feel like it was just a reference that just kind of went wrong. But then again, the Rebels is a reference that went wrong.
We have the same thing with the X-Wings, where it's like, there's a lot of, like, if A New Hope happens like a few days late, well, I like the fact that there is a passage of time. It's just funny to me that they decided to opt to repaint the fighters. Like, they made sure to repaint each and every one of them.
That's also kind of a problem of just animations writing is normally done so quickly while this movie's been in production and keeps changing, and Saw Gerrera's now got hair, even though he's bald at first, and
yeah, and look again, the black pilot gets to do something. He's whooping ass.
Yay! I mean, considering how there's actually Rebels references in this film, I'm just
I love seeing freaking
the Ghost.
No.
I thought you
freaking
Gold Leader?
John.
Gold
Yeah.
Leader. I love this shot right here. This reminds me of Empire at War.
Yeah, that's a lot of TIE fighters.
Since
you said it was just 2 Star Destroyers. I don't know. That's like a freaking armada.
Speaking of which, Red, since you were humming, you want to talk about the
also,
score?
Also, the Ghost kills some ship in a few seconds, I think.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about the score while we're here?
The score's pretty good. I love it in this 3rd act.
Oh yeah.
Earlier it's more ambient, but it's fantastic.
I think
in this
the
3rd
score
act.
is on par with TFA at least, because both scores were rushed. Let's face it, we know that.
I like that they're flying in formation. Was that a Red Squadron X-Wing? I swear I saw a Red Squadron in there.
What are you gonna say, Deapoolzilla?
Wasn't the score changed?
Oh, and there's another female pilot.
It was originally going to be Desplat, and now and then they made it to Michael Giacchino, who we know can do good work. I mean, those Star Trek movies have lovely scores.
It's sad that all these guys are going to die.
Yeah.
And then, look, there's another female Blue Squadron pilot, but she's probably going to die as well later. But yeah, it's a little depressing. Have you guys seen the clip of the blooper from A New Hope with Gold Leader that they showed at Celebration?
Oh yeah.
I wish that was in this movie.
Ooh. Oh, by the way,
the Gold Leader drops an F-bomb.
This is a great shot. Ooh.
And the TIE Strikers don't really do much. I mean, they kill Murik. Murik's like a general, and yet he gets maybe 2 kills in this whole movie. I have no idea why he's Wing Commander, and Garvin isn't.
It's gonna date this commentary, but I'm so interested to see what Episode 8 does, because these are some great space battles in general right here.
Okay, I don't get this. Why didn't he just, I don't know, make sure it didn't wrap around the other one? Like, he has it coiled around, like, 6 different things. Also, Black Saber, which everyone was like, oh, it's a reference to the Dark Saber that Sabine has. No, it's a reference to the fact that in the EU, there's a weapon called the Dark Saber. It makes more sense that the list of super weapons contains, like, what do you see? He's fixing this problem. I like that he notices. Oh shit! I wrapped it around that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like they're obviously referencing the Dark Saber from Legends, which is connected to the Death Star.
By the way, here comes the saddest part. I think this is the saddest moment of the movie for me. Kay's death is the saddest for me.
No, there's a sadder one.
It's the most brutal.
I guess. The saddest one is obviously when the profundity gets hit.
Well, Radis is again, I forgot. Is he live or die?
We don't know, but Pablo keeps saying he's dead, which makes me think he's alive.
Yeah.
Well, Pablo hasn't. That's the thing. If Pablo definitively answers yes, but if he cryptically answers, then it's always the opposite.
Yeah.
Has he been definitively answering or crypto?
He only posted an image of calamari, like cooked. But again, that's a joke. He does it when he gives a definitive answer. It's not always a joke.
Like when he said Snoke is not Plagueis.
Well, he says Snoke is not Plagueis. But if he makes like just a funny little joke, it's not always 100% certain because he doesn't lie.
He'll mess with your head, but he doesn't lie.
Exactly. He plays with your emotions. He could just be like, no, it's a calamari because the other calamaris died.
It's kind of like with Ed Boon on Twitter for Mortal Kombat. He'll do the same shit just to screw with you, but never give you a straight answer.
I love Mendo. I love Mendo so much. Just the way he plays this character. Krennic would not be as cool without Mendo.
That one Pathfinder fell without getting shot. I just want to mention that. He just dropped. But yeah, I really like this fight scene, especially because it's like, not the path. His buddy. That was Bodhi's buddy. They were talking throughout this, and he just got shot. But yeah, I love the fact that the Empire actually does get the upper hand there towards the end. Good, because it makes them more intimidating that they actually aren't the worst. But yeah, Blue Squadron's getting kind of destroyed for the most part.
Yeah, I love.
He just got flanked. He has no one covering him.
Yeah, I love these.
They suck with their formations.
I love these ties.
Mustache Man.
Oh, and he goes out in like a really sad, just nothing way. I'm not trying to make fun of him. It's just funny. Like, just to contrast that to how Garfin went out. And those guys were war buddies during the Clone Wars. The way Garfin went out was awesome.
This is a great shot.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I love this.
Not what's his face, Piston.
It's shot so much like a documentary. I love it.
Like a documentary?
Well, that's how Garrus described. They describe some of Garrus's shot styles like he's shooting a documentary, like he's actually there with a handheld camera, kind of just getting some of the shots, not all of them.
Oh yeah, the way he shot it, not necessarily the shots themselves.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Ooh.
Oh, and I love this where the guy's still trying to get up and he's trying to help his buddy, and he gets shot and has to abandon him. That's my favorite moment of the movie. He's the guy begging for help and having to be abandoned. That's the saddest moment. Because that is just so heartbreaking, and it's in the background, and I love it, and this is a giant safety hazard.
Yeah. I just love that change for you, Red. It's sad, it's depressing, and wow, that's a safety hazard.
It's like, I see a lawsuit coming.
The Empire is nothing but one big giant lawsuit just waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And the First Order.
Yeah.
In fact, every evil organization in Star Wars is just a giant lawsuit just waiting to happen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I love the fact that that guy's still wounded. Oh, and this guy Cephala, I love this death. Like, he just goes for he's like, because he's actually the second in command here. He's the second highest ranking person other than Cassian.
Look at that cape.
Because he's a captain. And I love the fact that he just gets shot right away. Like, he's gonna take the stand, and then he just gets killed.
Yeah, I'm going for it. Blam. No, you're not.
And that's just depressing, but what will happen sometimes to people. Also convenient that her belt had a hook. Like, imagine if it was a pouch belt and you didn't have a hook. It's just like you're not going to be able to climb. Also, I hate the fact that with a pistol he can kill the Death Troopers. Like, it takes one shot to kill them each. I don't like that. Also, I like that we cut back and that guy's dead. Which you don't know if he got shot or if he just died from bleeding out. That's depressing.
I don't think I mentioned this, but apparently Donnie Yen was the one who suggested Chirrut be blind.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't in the script.
Yeah,
but
and when
damn,
Donnie
the Death
says,
Troopers are bad. You see, one shot for each kills the Death Troopers. I do not like that.
yeah, I wasn't a fan of that either.
Also, it's funny because there's like 4 Death Troopers throughout, or 6 Death Troopers throughout the whole movie, and then all of a sudden there's 2 extra ones that are with Krennic, which makes me think that had to do with reshoots.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure there's lots of reshoots. Well, remember, Krennic was going to follow them to the beach. Like,
I mean, there's a good
pictures.
There's a good explanation of why. Okay, there was just 2 extra, but I think there was always just supposed to be 6, and they just added 2 extra. And there's a good excuse. It's fine, but still.
It's one of those
Just pointing
things
that
where
out.
it's like, yeah, there were reshoots, but it's not like we can. The final product's fine.
He is so lucky he hit that convenient.
I think
Great
Cassian was
thing.
supposed to die here, but they decided to change that.
He was supposed to die as they enter the room that ships the stuff, or not ships stuff. That's the transmission thing. Because we've seen his death actually. There's a behind the scenes photo or actually video of K2's original death, and it's just no CG added or anything. It's just what's his face in the CG
Alan
suit.
Tudyk.
Yeah, and the mocap suit, and they're just you know how they just yell bang, bang, and they're doing that, and it's his death, and he just like falls back against the wall in front of the door that leads to the Citadel, and Cassian's dead body's lying there. Like face down, planted in the ground. So I assume that's how he was going to die in the original, which I'm glad they changed, though I also sort of like the idea of him dying with Kay.
This is a great shot. I love these. These are. Oh, look at those. Oh, wait, there's the ghost.
Oh, yeah, the ghost takes someone down. Booyah.
Yeah. The one time you were good at anything, Ezra, assuming you're on that ship.
Ezra's totally dead. The ghost is successful. Oh, I love the fact that the GR-75 gets shot down. It's like, yeah, because why the hell do you have a GR-75? Also, that was Vanessa Marshall.
These are some
Apparently.
These are some great effects.
Yeah, though I don't get how those should. I don't like how powerful they are.
But I love the way the turrets are firing on the Star Destroyers. It reminds me so much of Empire at War.
Yeah, I don't like how powerful the ion torpedoes are. They shouldn't be able to completely short out a Star Destroyer just headcanon wise. But at the same time, I guess they're being bombarded repetitively. The way I take it is it just shorted out momentarily, and then they didn't have time to get the systems back up before they got hit again.
Yeah, my thing was always they just got lucky. They just got a lucky shot in.
Yeah, and again, they're being shot repetitively, so it makes sense that possibly that would happen.
Oh, here comes another sad one.
How does Pal die? Oh, and I love this death.
It's so unceremonial, but I love it.
Yeah, and just that reaction of, oh shit. It's like, yeah, that's.
We saw this
not
in the
everyone
trailer,
has it.
and I think you called that somebody was going to die when we saw that shot.
Well, I said Bodhi because Bodhi was. We saw him on a cargo shuttle previously, and I'm like, oh, that's how he dies.
Yeah. when I first saw him staying in the cargo ship, I was literally I thought back to the trailer for 1 second. I was like, oh, I know how this is going to end.
Yep.
You know, the funny, I was actually the most pessimistic. I thought they'd find a way to get them all to live.
You mean optimistic?
No, pessimistic. I thought.
He didn't think they would have the guts.
But they did. Oh, to be fair, maybe one of them should have lived. Maybe.
Yeah.
The Death Troopers one major kill, both of which were thermal detonators. That's a little sad.
I thought the short trooper killed Bodhi.
Oh yeah, this guy died killed by accident. Also, I love the fact that this is similar to the Citadel arc in Clone Wars, which it's called the Citadel. It was designed by Tarkin, most likely. I like the fact that this is possibly intentional by him.
No, for
That's
some
cool.
reason when I saw this scene, I thought I missed a chapter in Catalyst that said that Jin was taking gymnastics. I don't know why. Just because he's good at doing that.
Oh, and also notice the pilots, very briefly, have black stripes on the back of their helmets right there. That's unique to the pilots. They also have blue vests. You only get to see them from behind, but they have blue vests if you look really closely at their arms. Or not their arms, but like there's one shot.
It would just
Somebody
nice
had to
to
point
see a
that out to me.
Hammerhead get represented, so represent.
Yeah, KOTOR, represent, and Rebels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as you've said before, yeah, they all die when they do this.
Yeah, the bridge crew could have put it up, which I like that idea in the novelization. The bridge crew could have put it up to the They've joked before that they shot the escape pods and then they all landed on the planet and died. I don't like that because it ruins the Cole sacrifice from the novelization, which is that they got everyone to safety and then the bridge crew was told to leave and then they chose not to because they wanted to make sure it would work and not leave it up to computers. That works a lot better if the escape pods do survive.
Well, I just now have this funny scene of, all right, guys, we made it. Now we just gotta wait for the Alliance to come pick us. Hey, what's that green light in the sky?
That's how Rebels should end. Zeb's just on the planet. He's like, okay, Harry's gonna go pick us up. What's that green light?
Well, this is a great shot coming up.
Hey, guys, is it just me or is the sky turning green?
Oh, look at this shot. This is great.
This is such a good fanfare. This. Oh, it's so good.
That's one thing Rogue One has a lot of fanfare.
Yeah, I said this the other day to you that it doesn't have as many good scores as it does good fanfares because it doesn't have that many scores. It's like 15 in total.
Right.
Because it's more repeated fanfares than anything.
Hopefully, episode 8, since it's getting a longer time to get its music act together, will have something a little bit more balanced.
Also, apparently the TIE fighter that showed up in the trailer was not actually ever supposed to happen. It was just added because it was a cool shot.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It wasn't even supposed to be for the trailer. It was just someone in production thought this would be cool, and then somebody got a look at it and they were like, oh, put that in the trailer.
That's movie making for you.
Which that's a cool idea that somebody just was like shitting around and was like, oh, that'd be cool.
Well, that's how most movie making's done nowadays. Well, actually, always kind of. That's common.
When it comes to CG, definitely.
Yeah, that's kind of hysterical because I didn't know that. It's just like, whoop, hey, what you making, dude? Oh, check this out. You know that scene where Jin's running on the balcony? How about we put a TIE fighter there? Oh, that's so
apparently that's
cool.
how the Hammerhead
Put it in
got
the
into the film.
With Hammer, that was at least more of like a, hey, you wanted, like, we did a tugboat ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, when I went into, speaking of the Hammerhead, when I was in the theater, someone actually went, KOTOR! In the middle of the theater, when they saw the Hammerhead.
And credit goes out the way he should, unceremoniously.
Yeah. Killed by the very thing he built.
Tarkin had the high ground.
Yep.
Someone kind of said to me, you know what doesn't make sense about the high ground? Why didn't Anakin just hop off of the little thing and just walk up the hill?
Because it was uneven ground. He probably would have stumbled and fallen back into the lava.
That'd be awesome. He comes Darth Vader
He just skips off lightly and then slips and just his head gets caught on fire. And Obi-Wan's like, oh dear God.
Okay, here is what Chris says is probably the best non-John Williams score ever.
Yep. Well, I say Kevin Kiner has done a few ones.
No, he mentioned Kevin Kiner. He said the Ahsoka leaves the temple. He said
he's
this.
Better.
No, he said this and Ahsoka leaves the temple like pretty much the same level.
I think the best is honestly, what was it, like It's All Over Now from season 2's finale, Twilight of the Apprentice. Damn, that's a good score.
I love the
also,
violin
I love
solo,
the fact that we get to
but
see
only
all
because
kinds of ships firing here.
Oh, yeah,
because there's a lot of ships that in the original trilogy never fired a shot, and we never knew where they had cannons. Like the Doreen gunship, which didn't have one on its original model. They actually added some here, which is cool. Also, Nebulon Bs have giant blaster cannons on the side, which is nice. Because again, in the original trilogy, like Home 1 doesn't have any guns on it. They just picked random spots to have it fire from in the film. Same goes with Star Destroyers.
I'd also like to say that's violin solo, and that Zeb episode is one of my favorites. But I used to play violin, so maybe I have a little more. I have a lot of respect for the violin. Look at Krennic's eyes.
Oh yeah, does he have a black eye all of a sudden?
Oh, here comes the line. You may
fire when ready. Is that a? I've heard. Is that the soundbite from A New Hope?
I don't know. I've heard rumors that they kind of modified it, but I can't tell you. Ryan
Which
Johnson
I am so glad these two don't kiss, because that'd be so awkward next to the bodies of their fallen comrades.
I'd have been pissed off if they did kiss.
Oh yeah. Like, they just walked past their buddy's corpse. In fact, based on where they were walking, they would have just walked over Base's body.
Yeah.
His charred corpse.
I'm just
also, I love this. May the force be with you, Home One. I love Rogue One. Home One. I mean, Home One is better, let's face it. But yeah, I love Radis. And yeah, they're all taken off, and
should we?
Boom!
Hey, should we address?
I love that, because the Devastator's just like, no, bitch, you move.
Should we?
Also, I love this Nebulon B that stands in the way and it gets broken in half. I love that.
That's an Empire War shot.
That is the most like, what would you call it? Like, just
fuck you, I'm in charge.
No, the Nebulon B taking the hit. That's like the saddest kind of deaths, where those, like, at least in this movie, we're like all about the little guys. You don't think about the crewmen that died using themselves as meat shields. They don't even get their faces shown. They got blown up because their ship was used as a meat shield to protect the Profundity, so the Profundity could cover the fleet. Like, that's a really sad kind of death, and the kind of thing I always like to think about is, yeah, think about the crewmen who die.
Yeah.
So,
and from here on...
Sorry.
Also, this is a weird... this contradicts a long-standing thing that people thought, which was the bridge of Imperial Class 1 Star Destroyers isn't actually similar to the bridge of the original Star Destroyer. There's a lot of stuff people have done, but it actually looks different. There's hinting to it. There's several shots, even in Empire, that allude to the idea that it's actually a different type of bridge. Also, hi, TIE bombers. But
I don't care if people say this is fan service. This is the best type of fan service we're gonna get.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the bridges are actually much smaller, and they don't have that massive like divots in the floor. And yet right here, it's just an Imperial Class 2 bridge, even though it's a Class 1.
Here it comes, people. My
which
favorite
I'm not the biggest
scene
fan
in the
of,
film.
Well, let me finish my thing before we get to that, because then I'm going to get cut off. But yeah, but I guess you could argue that the Devastator is a top-of-the-line ship, so it might just have the new bridge on it, because it's modded. Who knows?
This is probably the best scene in the movie. So much atmosphere.
I love these deaths.
I love that guy who's banging on the door.
I love the anger. Like, these guys just, like, they know they're going to die, and then they're just like, okay, I'm okay with that. And then just, boom.
Best part. That guy banging on the door.
Yeah.
I love the
chaos.
Just
the horror. And the fact that these guys are dying. Like, these guys' deaths must suck. They know they're not going to win. They're dying because they're using themselves as meat. Like, these guys don't even have blasters, and they're standing their ground, intentionally trying to get killed, because maybe getting murdered will give their allies some time. Like, that is just heartbreaking. And these two guys stay. That's my favorite thing. Those guys right there stay, and they go. I love that guy who's just like, close the door, leave us. That's so freaking heartbreaking, but awesome.
I also love in this scene where you see Vader's they clearly did some EU reading, and because that's clearly Djemso right there that Vader's using.
Yeah. I've seen so many people say it's Sarisu. It's not Sarisu. It's Djemso.
Yeah.
Because Sarisu, you don't leave. It's not It's like tight blocks. That's, like giant moves and waving around.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of situation. Also, once again, look at the back of their helmets. There's a black stripe because they're pilots. That's a new thing. I hope that. And they have blue vests. So look really closely at the guys inside. You can see a little bit of a blue vest. Right there. You see?
Oh, yeah.
And so I hope that design gets used in Rebels, because I think we saw that. Like, I swear there's a guy with a blue vest in Rebels at some point.
Story by John Knoll and Gary Whitta.
So yeah, Rogue One.
Woo! What a ride. Second producer. Let's keep going to the credits. There we go. There's your photography. Doug Chang, Neil Lamont.
Yeah, so still a good movie. Problems, but what movie isn't without its problems?
People say this is like
Empire.
the next. Yeah, like people say this is like the second coming of Empire. I wouldn't go that far. I would say
I
close.
like it more than Empire. I don't think any Star Wars film will ever come close to Empire.
Nah, I don't think so either. This
For
did.
me,
This could, but
this is. I'm gonna say that this is my third favorite. Right, of course, Empire #1, then New Hope, then this.
for me, it's Jedi, Rogue One, then Sith.
For me, personal favorite wise, honestly, I hate saying this, but probably it is Empire: Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One. If only because Revenge of the Sith gave us the novelization, and I can't distance myself from that. It's so Matt Stover is just the greatest Star Wars writer ever.
That is such a great novelization. I wish that was the movie.
A funny way of saying, that's a funny way of saying James Luceno, though.
That's Matt Stover.
I know, I'm joking.
Oh. Matt Stover's better than Luceno.
We're about to
Them's
witness.
fighting words, bitch.
No, Luceno's good with plotting. He lags.
Read
He
Plagueis.
over-explains.
Read Plagueis.
I've been reading Plagueis.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I love that book. It's not perfect,
Yeah.
but everything Matt Stover does is perfect because he's
We
Matt Stover.
need to change. We need to change subjects right now, Joel, or I'm going to kill him.
Okay. I like this movie. I think this
Matt Stover will protect me.
I think this film definitely pushes the boundaries of Star Wars filmmaking, at least in the modern era. I think this is probably more the norm of what the movies moving forward are going to be like, and TFA was more the exception. I hope there's lots more references and stuff like that, but obviously, they want a good story and good characters and good plot, that sort of thing, too. This is probably my second favorite Star Wars film after Jedi, or just on personal favorite alone. It's not as good as Empire, but then again, what movie is? Empire is lightning in a bottle. It's better than probably New Hope.
Lightning in a bottle.
Exactly. It's probably better than New Hope. But I won't get into that debate. And I look forward to seeing if Rian Johnson can sort of like blend everything together and give us the best of the new era of Disney Star Wars films moving forward. Because I love Gareth Edwards, and you're great, and I hope you come back. Yeah. Sorry, we're just watching the credits. Any other final thoughts? Anything? The silence has fallen.
Any last criticisms or compliments of the film?
I definitely. Okay, I want to get into this kind of now. People kind of always go back and forth on who the better characters are. I think these probably are better from a plot perspective. I think the point of TFA's characters that they're supposed to stick out. These characters are more. This is a plot-driven film, so the characters are meant to subserve the plot, and they're developed and stuff. They definitely don't pop, but I think that's the point. I think subtlety is this film's greatest asset. Except for people who don't like subtlety.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like they're more fully formed people. At least some of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that and they only get one movie to be fully formed people, so you better hope that...
And it's a testament to how great some of these characters are. I know some people don't care for them that much, but, like, honestly, I find Draven more interesting than anyone from TFA. And that's not an insult to TFA. It's just a matter of I like a lot of the stuff they do with this film and the tone and stuff, and it makes me want to hear more of these characters.
Yeah, I definitely think... I think the anthology films are going to be a testament to just... Every Star Wars film moving forward is going to be to somebody else's taste, regardless of the objectivity and the actual problems within the film itself. Like, this was made for the people who like the more dark and gritty war film. TFA was more like just the retro, let's have Star Wars fun. I think Episode 8 is probably going to be a lot darker, but let's go into some more Force stuff. Han Solo's for the Han Solo fans. Obi-Wan will be like for Jedi people, but also Obi-Wan fans, if that ever happens, hopefully.
It's also going to be kind of a Western.
Kind of, if that happens. So.
And a bit of a samurai film. And then the Boba film is going to be more like your criminal underworld kind of thing, maybe a heist movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So people are gonna like things more or less. I mean, I've learned that you can't please a Star Wars fans are very hard to please, and I have studied the fandom, um, and the factions and stuff. I won't get into that, but yeah, I think that's it for our Rogue One commentary, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. I hope we didn't bore you in any way. We'll probably do another one soon because we always have more to say. Um, and I said this when I saw the when we did the review, and after I saw the film. I'm done. I could be done with Star Wars. I'm not going to be, but like this is it. This fulfilled almost everything I wanted in a Star Wars film. We can stop. We're done. We don't have to go forward. Every Star Wars film could suck, and I wouldn't care. I would be. I'm happy now. Rogue One has fulfilled everything I wanted in Star Wars films, and I can be. I can retire from the fandom a happy man. I won't, but that's just my feelings on it. Um. So yeah. Till next time. I'm GID123.
I'm Redleader Antilles.
And I'm Deapoolzilla.
And see you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.